Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3 FM. This is Atlanta's new home for Fox News, Xtra 106.3 FM.
A lot more money is being lost. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Stock futures down big again, about 1,300 points for the Dow. That's already dropped almost 4,000 the past 2 trading days on concerns about what new U.S. tariffs on all imports will do to the economy.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries.
President Trump telling reporters on Air Force One last night we have to fix lopsided trade deficits, but Democrats call the Trump tariffs reckless. Senator Adam Schiff tells NBC's Meet the Press.
Unfortunately, he's wrecking our economy. I think people have seen their retirement savings on fire.
The worry is worldwide as markets also fall overseas.
Analysts covering Asian stocks say this is one of the biggest continuing sell-offs they've ever seen. Japan, Australia, Singapore, all seeing share prices fall for a third day. Among the worst affected businesses are Japanese car makers, now under a 25% levy on imports in the U.S.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Japan's Nikkei dropped nearly 8% overnight. The market in Hong Kong plunged 13%, and there's also a lot of losses in Europe. President Trump will likely talk about the tariffs with Israel's prime minister today at the White House, and he'll also talk to Benjamin Netanyahu about the war against Hamas, which fired rockets into Israel, prompting deadly airstrikes in Gaza in response. Parts of the South are underwater after a foot of rain or more from storms that also spawned tornadoes, did a lot of damage. From Arkansas to Kentucky, at least 19 people have been killed.
Out of all of the deaths that we know about so far, 10 of those happened here in Tennessee. Torrential rain stalled over Memphis, causing severe flash flooding.
That's Fox's Madison Scarpino in Nashville. They're celebrating in Connecticut another national championship in women's college basketball. UConn's 12th title after beating South Carolina 82-59. The men's championship game is tonight. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is a slow, rainy, warm outside Monday, and Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Los is out buying a home. He's going to be out today and tomorrow, and in today for him, one of my dearest friends, Janelle King. How are you, ma'am?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to have you. And
Happy to be here.
You could have heard the discussion of the last 30 minutes. We've already done a show, and about to jump into to 4 hours more. But just glad that you're here. What's been going on? What have you been up to?
Yeah, no, I'm great. You know what? I just been helping to try to push some of these bills. You know, we just came out of a session. I'm really focusing on election stuff. I've been working on the media, doing my podcast and all of that. And something that's really been on my heart is educating the base and educating voters to take their power back. You know, I mean, sometimes you fall in love with people and then you start feeling like, man, you know, I think I can take a back seat. I think I can relax. You know, we got some good people in there. No. Mm-mm. We have a job. We have a responsibility. We got to hold people accountable to the very end.
Amen to that. And as I've said on the show a bazillion times, and we'll continue saying it, 99.999% of the time, even the ones that I like or vote for or seem to agree with, I don't trust.
Yeah.
And in the state of Georgia, I trust about nobody when it comes to politics. So you get to the D.C. level, and I trust even less.
Right.
So I mean, like it's never a good place to be, or it doesn't feel like a good place to be, but I know it's the right place to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't trust nobody.
I had one of the most disturbing conversations when I was in D.C. recently because I was talking to a couple of staffers, and I asked them a question, and just so happened it was very private, and so I wanted their authentic response. And I just said to them, what do you really believe? How do you feel about America? You're up here with all the most powerful people in our country. What do you believe? And what I heard was, you know what? I hear all the things that people say that they're concerned about, and I think the thing that scares me the most is that I don't think that those who are here are smart enough to carry it out.
Oh my heavens.
And I said, what? And I was not ready for that response, but that was the response. They said that, we just, I see all across this country people electing folk that they that are charismatic, that can spin a good conversation, but can't produce anything.
Yeah.
But just have no grit, no bite, can't produce.
How many presidents have we had that we could say that about? And I would say going back to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Going back to Reagan is pretty much the, can they say the right things and get elected and convince people of things and say what Americans want to hear and then never do it.
You know what's funny? I look at Reagan and I look at President Trump, and there are a lot of similarities there.
Shoot, yeah, there are.
The things that stand out to me, because I love human nature, is that these are two people who came from a completely different industry, two people who were self-made and made their own, kind of built their own wealth. There isn't necessarily a desire to pull from the country. Now I can't speak to whether or not they are benefiting from their positions, but I will say that I don't feel as though they have to pull from us, right? Whereas when you look back, it just seems like a lot of other candidates, they didn't really have much to stand on prior to obtaining this position.
Yeah. And there's a great article you talking about the similarities in Trump and Reagan, and I do believe they exist as well. And it is the article I found was talking about peace through strength.
Yeah.
And that's what Donald Trump is trying to do, ending the quote unquote free trade of the last 39 years and replacing it with fair trade. We want to be trade partners, yes. But if you're charging us, a 75% tariff and we're charging you a 2.5% tariff, that's not free trade or fair trade. That's neither one.
No, that's robbery.
Resetting the world economy is what is happening. And I saw something that I thought was really smart by from Marco Rubio over the weekend when he talked about markets are crashing, yes, but our economy's crashing, and those are two different things.
Two different things.
And he's exactly right. Do we see the stock market coming down? Absolutely. People are in panic mode. My 401k, whatever. Your 401k was inflated, by the way, by sugar high spending of printing money and federal government that has been bloated beyond anything. You don't talk about a blob.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that was a blob. And there's a very big difference in economies crashing and markets crashing and markets resetting. And I was reading, and it was just this morning, so I've not looked it up to verify this information, but it said that the stock market today is about where it was this time last year, before all the push and the additional spending at the end of the Biden administration. And if that's the case, then what are y'all freaking out about? Why is everybody panicking about?
Well, because I think what President Trump has to do simultaneously is a reworking of the mindset of the people.
Amen to that.
The Democrats kind of forced everyone to become dependent on the government. They changed the purpose of the government. What President Trump is doing is creating opportunities for small businesses, particularly the middle class, to step into the economy now and dominate.
That's right.
Whenever you have all these high tariffs coming from other countries, if you are a company right now that can produce soap, and let's just say there's a 25 or 30% tariff that's going to get hit on soap. If you produce soap and you make soap in America, this is the time when you need to rev up.
You are about to hit a groundswell.
Yes, and I don't think people see that because we're so used to the government not just creating the opportunity, but being the opportunity.
The only thing I would push back on, Janelle, is I think the American people do see it. The polling reflects
good.
that.
Oh, good. I haven't seen the recent polling. Is it showing?
Donald Trump's approval ratings are up 4 points to 54%. And if you look at the news at night, they're going to tell you they're screaming bloody murder. They're showing pictures of paid protesters showing up, and maybe some of them are not, whatever. But I think the majority of them are.
Yeah.
And the reason I can tell you that is most of the protesters. We'll get to it in the next segment. Most of the protesters don't even know what they're protesting. Right. When people go and ask them, like, "What do you think?" and they just got no answers.
Yeah,
no answers
all over again.
It totally is. It's so AstroTurf. It's so artificial sweetener. It's fake and it's unbelievable. At least from my point of view, from my vantage point, it doesn't look genuine.
Yeah.
And the one thing I feel like that the American people are good at is sniffing out a phony.
Yes.
I really do think
Yes.
regular, normal, down-to-earth people can sniff out a phony, can sniff out a fraud. It might take them a minute.
It's instinctual, though.
It is. It's so instinctual. I agree with you.
That's why people either love or hate Trump, right? And both of which is a very powerful emotion.
Amen.
So and I think he's mastered that, right? One thing Trump does understand is you need to be who you are. You have to be yourself. He understands that better than anybody else. Whether you love me or hate me, I'm going to be who I am. And I think that when you do that, it automatically allows the base, it allows the voters, it allows people to look at the situation and be able to distinguish between what do I want to embrace, what do I not want to embrace. And even if I don't want to embrace it, simply because of the fact that I don't like the person, I'm going to because I believe that he's telling me the truth. So it's a very interesting conundrum.
Can I play you a cut from Bill Maher from, I can't remember if it was a TV show or his podcast, but it's one or the other. And he was talking about the exact same thing. He said about Donald Trump, the reason he is doing really, really well is because he's authentic. You don't have to like what he's doing or saying, but you believe that's who he is as a person. Listen to this.
Trump really is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. And that kind of nobody else does it. There's a couple of times when, I've been his biggest critic for good reason. And when he got reelected, I said, I'm not going to pre-hate anything. And then the first week I said, well, there's lots of things I hate because I do. Okay, there's some things I don't hate also, but the way he can do that and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I got to give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because
that's exactly right, dude. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like the policies. And back to your point about emotion, people either love him or hate him. There's not a lot of gray. You love him or hate him. And it's because he's authentic.
Yep.
And like I do believe another thing, and Carlos has brought this up so many times on the show about Americans not putting up with corrupt people. They don't like corrupt people. And you see them, they'll take it for a really long time, and then they'll just flip and they're just done. And that's what happened with the Biden administration. The American people saw the corruption that was so blatant, you couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss the lawfare. You couldn't miss the open borders. You couldn't miss his mental faculties being diminished completely, and yet you were told every day everything's fine. That's your eyes. I know what your eyes are telling you. I know what your ears are telling you, but your eyes and ears are wrong.
Right.
And nobody bought that. Nobody believed that. No, my eyes and ears. The one thing I trust is my eyes and ears.
I mean, having worked in the grassroots for over a decade, I feel like I understand the pulse of the base. And one of the things that I think we forget is that the base is very forgiving to a point, right? Yeah. We like to make sure we know why we have to get rid of someone. We don't want to just start tossing people, right?
We're just throwing people out.
So you give people some time.
Give them grace. Show them grace.
When Biden was elected, he was elected by a group of people who said, I think something's off here, but I'm going to just see. So I don't like it. I know we still have questions around what happened and whether he was ever elected, and we do have some data points that questions all of that.
As a woman who works on the Georgia State Elections Board,
right?
Insight that none of us have other than her. So welcome to the show. Welcome to a Monday morning show.
Right. I absolutely have questions, right? And I didn't before I joined the board. So that ought to tell you something.
Absolutely. Which I bring that up a lot. I was like, because I always thought something happened. Janelle was always like, I just don't know. And then you're like, oh my gosh, but it wasn't just that election. Please don't be misled to think it was just 2020. It was happening well before, and it benefited Republicans before.
Yes.
Don't be misled. Don't be gaslit either way.
Don't be gaslit. Yeah. So I feel like what we're going through right now is, I think the base is like, I think I have all the evidence I need.
Yeah.
I think we're like, because it's not what you do, it's what you don't do. I always tell Kelvin, what shocked me was the silence that came during the state election board. I had never been sued in my life. Then all of a sudden I'm getting sued like 7 times within a year.
It's unbelievable.
And I was just shocked by it. And to get not one text message, no phone calls, no one even asked me, hey, Janelle, what are you doing?
The silence was
deafening from people who would normally reach out to me. So that's when I knew something's up, and this is not me. This is bigger than me.
Oh, yeah. Because the corruption in the state of Georgia, we're learning, is so massive. And it's on both sides.
Yeah.
And it benefits, I think, the people in power, not the people.
Right. And I care about the people.
Right. And they're just fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. It just matters who's in charge and which way can we push the money, which way can we push the power, which way can we stay in charge.
Yes. Yes. When I see Democrats being manipulated, I get the same emotion.
It's exactly right.
It doesn't matter because what I see is that as voters, there are a lot of voters who really believe they're doing the right thing. They really do, because they only have a certain amount of information.
Well, that's what Bill Maher said, right?
That's the whole point. It's like all you can do is go with what you have. But once you get a little bit more and a little bit more, it's up to the good people to start feeding it back to the base to say, nope, you're not crazy about this, or maybe this is a little off. But, there has to be more conversations. And I'm over it. I've been around it long enough now where I think I've seen what I need to see. I'm looking at the actions of people who are supposed to be doing the right thing. I don't understand why is it so hard for us to pass an election bill in a Republican-ran state. We hold every position of power.
Chamber of power. We got them all.
And we can't pass an election bill?
And couldn't get, we got HB 397, and it was completely gutted and watered down, all in a Republican-led state.
Haven't spoken to one Democrat. Not one Democrat.
The Republicans are just as corrupt, completely corrupt in the state of Georgia.
You know what?
100% completely corrupt. Is there a handful that are good? Sure.
I'm sure.
And I bet you probably know several of them. I do not. I intentionally, and people have asked me this before. And I was just telling you this earlier. Why don't you go to GOP meetings and hang out at, go to fundraisers thing? Because I don't like any of them, and I don't trust any of them. Zero of them. I don't want to know them, because if I know them, the way I talk about it changes.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's like, it's old Jim Bob. Me and him have been buds with him a long time. I won't say nothing bad about him. If I don't know him, I can just judge the action. It takes that personal thing away. And that's why I don't go to GOP meetings. That's why I'm not a member of the GOP in any county. I'm not the state GOP. None of it. I want nothing to do with any of it.
You know what? I will say this. I will say that the people on the county level are the people, to me, that have the most genuine hearts.
Okay.
It's the people. It's what happens when you elect people who don't understand that power is extremely powerful.
And corrupting.
That emotion is very powerful. And if you don't already have have in your mind how you're going to handle situations when it comes to you, and you have a lot of opportunities to make the wrong decision. If you don't know how you're going to handle that before it comes into your face, then you're liable to make some bad decisions.
Liable to do it.
You know, and people are trying to put people through college. People are trying to take care of their families, their aging parents. There's a lot going on and a lot of temptation.
Easy to be swayed.
Yes.
Absolutely easy to be swayed. And that's not an excuse.
No.
But that's why you're seeing what you see.
Yeah. You got to have a strong moral compass.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, most protesters, this is why I say it's bought and paid for. Most of them out there that you saw this weekend, and there was a lot. Most of them, I believe, bought and paid for. And I'll give you the reason why I think that, and I'll let you hear them in their own words. And I bet you'll think it too. Next on the Morning Extra.
If you love 106.3, then you'll love the all-new Extra 106.3 app. It's loaded with replays of your favorite shows like The Morning Extra and The Kimmer Show. Podcasts from conservative voices across the South. And access to Extra's crystal clear live stream from anywhere in Georgia. Grab it now for Apple or Android.
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. You want to jump into spring and not worry about your home? Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to them, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
Atlanta Braves fans, May is Military Appreciation Month, and a great time to show your patriotism by purchasing a VIP table at The Warrior Alliance 4th Annual Veteran Impact Awards and Gala. The event will be held on Thursday, May 22nd at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater at the Battery, Atlanta, and features dining, live entertainment, and Georgia-based veterans being honored for the significant contributions they are making in our communities. Purchase your VIP table today or make a donation at thewarrioralliance.org.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
It's April 7th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Cheers, it's National Beer Day. On this day in 1933, people could once again buy, sell, and drink beer, so much so, Americans guzzled 1.5 million barrels of legal beer and ale. Also on this day, in 1948, the World Health Organization is established. It's the United Nations agency concerned with fighting disease and epidemics worldwide. In 1805, the great explorers Lewis and Clark leave Fort Mandan in North Dakota to continue their journey west. Born on this day, singer, songwriter, actress Billie Holiday in 1915, actors Jackie Chan in 1954 and Russell Crowe in 1964, and legendary writer, producer, director Francis Ford Coppola, who brought the world the Godfather trilogy. I'm CJ Papa, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, April 7th. Power has been restored for most Georgians after severe weather on Sunday. About 6,000 were left in the dark Sunday evening. Response teams are working to restore power. A flood watch remains in effect for most of North Georgia. The Georgia legislative session is over. Georgia senators exited abruptly Friday night, earlier than House members expected. Among the passed bills, an expansion of the child tax credit, a religious liberties bill, and a state income tax cut. Georgia representatives were upset that the senators left the session early. The Masters Golf Tournament at Augusta National has been delayed due to weather. Patron gates will not be open today. Further details about updated scheduling are expected this afternoon. Today's weather: rain continues throughout the metro area, clearing up this afternoon. Scattered showers throughout the evening give way to cooler temperatures this week. We'll have temperatures in the high 50s this evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Tug and Los until 10. Los out home buying today. Big time, getting ready to move into a big new house I know he's proud of, and with his daughters getting them closer to the high school that they go to. So our favorite, Janelle King, joining us this morning. It's so much fun to spend time with you. Yeah. And I only wish that people were able to listen between the breaks.
I know.
You know,
I know. It's like a whole show.
It is.
A whole different show.
It is. A totally different show. But fun nonetheless. And Kelvin, what's he up to this morning?
He's at the office. I know he's listening.
Already? He's already at the office?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? No, it is 6:25. He's probably just kind of getting ready. He's getting ready to head to the office.
Yes.
Kelvin is really big on leading by example. So even though now he does have a number 2 that is, the guy, and Kelvin's kind of moving back a little bit, but he likes to be in the office with the people. He doesn't like the idea of I'm just sitting at home, working from home, and everyone else is at the office.
And the company's growing.
Oh, it's growing. It's growing. I mean, it's interesting. It's like if you do what God tells you to do, he'll take care of your stuff.
Amen.
So when we ran for office, it was coming off of 2020. So the company was like, we were struggling a little bit because, every company got hit during 2020.
Of course.
And then we did a lot of hiring before. So anyway, it was just like, okay, what are we going to do now that he's no longer running for office? And he got back in there, he prayed, and just God gave him wisdom, and things happened. And so now we're outside of Georgia, and we're just doing a lot of work.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It's great to see good local companies grow and do well and thrive.
Yeah.
Especially in an economy that's a little topsy-turvy right now. And, we'll get into some of the tariffs and some of that discussion. And some of the, I think it's over 50 countries that are like, hey, let's get on the phone call. Donnie T, let's talk.
It's funny. They see what's happening.
Absolutely.
They understand.
They completely get it. Now, those clowns that are protesting all over the country.
Oh, gosh.
But I think half are bought and paid for. I think the other half are just clueless.
Yeah.
And here's why I think that. Because when they're asked, they really can't tell you exactly what they're protesting.
What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without I'm not really good into interviews.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants and not following laws or he's a convicted felon, that's all I know.
But your sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
One of the things is that he's trying to control the media, right?
Say that again?
He's trying to control the narrative.
How is he trying to control the media? Doesn't every president try to control the narrative?
They try to control their own narrative, but one of the things that Trump's has done, for example, is the renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
So that's why he's a fascist. That's why he's a fascist. I have a big sign that says Trump's a fascist. I'm not even sure those people know what fascism is.
They don't.
Which is
what's funny? I was listening to a teacher. He was giving a presentation, and he was talking about how what we're living in now is kind of a combined fascism, communism. Like it's a different type of, a different spin
Marxism,
on it.
socialism.
It's like all of it mixed in, right? Right. It's all mixed in. So
sure.
I think that's why when we call it one thing, they can counter us.
Well, that's why I try to call it
a little bit of everything.
That's why when Jure can back me up on this, man. I'm like, when the communist, socialist, Marxist, fascist, whatever, I try to get them all. I try to hit them all because there's elements of all of them in that crazy protesting that we saw over the weekend.
Man.
And that was just one instance. There were so many more people that had no idea why they were out there. And then there was people that were complaining they weren't getting paid. You know, they didn't get her check. They're mad. You know,
they were in Woodstock of all places this weekend.
Yeah,
I could not believe it. They were out there doing their anti-Trump.
How many?
I don't know, 100 or so.
That's more than I thought.
They're organized.
The thing that I saw, because I saw a warning, stay out of downtown today. So, we didn't go over there. Usually we go over there and go over to Reformation, have a cold
beer. Pop or two.
Yeah. And so stay out because here they come. And people were saying that all of the license plates they could see in the parking lots were from counties not in Cherokee County. Imagine that.
Of course.
That's the way it always goes.
Do you think Soros is really still driving this? Or
I certainly think there's an element. And look, that's why they're so upset. That's why Soros is so upset. Is because all that USAID money that was being filtered back and laundered back to him to pay for all this stuff. Now he had to cut the check.
Soros figured it out. He figured it out. And it's so interesting that Stacey Abrams is like one of his mentees, and she has to be, because she's doing the exact same thing through these NGOs. I mean, she figured it out, and she ran a play on this state. And we're still trying to unravel from her strategy as well.
Holy cow, yes.
Yeah.
And
I heard she's running for governor.
That's again?
Again.
Well.
Yeah. I know Keisha Bottoms.
Keisha Lance Bottoms says she's running too. Yeah.
She just filed her early paperwork.
Keisha Bottoms is running for governor.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Great for us.
Yeah. Well,
you know what? Let me not. Nope. I'm not going to say that. You know what? I used to say, man, as Republicans, we should be able to defeat these policies hands down.
Yeah.
But the base, we've got to bring, as voters, we just got to get to the point where we can look past the person and listen to what they're saying. It goes back to the Federalist Papers, when they were just like, let's debate, let's understand why we need these policies. Because I don't know. I mean, Keisha is not a bad debater.
No.
She's not unloved. I mean, she is loved by many.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm telling you, particularly black women that are liberal and feminists and feminism, they want to see a woman pull something off because it just seems like they keep failing.
I think they keep failing because they put up people with bad policy that ultimately is shown to be bad policy. We saw what the Biden administration did. We saw the policies of the far left. And that's what Stacey's going to pull. That's what Keisha Lance Bottoms is going to pull. So when you already know what the policy is, there's not a chance anybody's voting for them. Why would you? I'm not voting. Right. The people that like them, that believe in those policies, whether they understand them or not, they're told been given the marching orders from CNN and MSNBC and the local affiliates here in town, ABC, CBS, NBC. That stuff filters down from the big networks. And a friend of ours, Carolyn Ryan, she left being in local news because of all the here's the topics you must talk about, and this is the angle you must talk about it from. That happens on your local news. And I do believe that is why the only people that Kamala Harris did well with were older people, 65 and up. That was the base that voted for her. Young people went away, minorities went away, working people went away from her, and all went to Trump. That had never voted that way before.
Because she's inauthentic,
but I mean, there's that for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely that. But even more, but the reason I think they went away is because the only people that watch the local news anymore is 65 and up. And watch CNN every night and MS. I have an Aunt Peg. She would vote. She voted for Stacey Abrams and will do it again. She'll vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms and we'll do it again. She voted for Biden. We'll do it. Put it to you next to her name's voting for him. Doesn't matter because every night she watches ABC. With David Muir, and David tells her that's who you got to vote for, and here's why, Trump's bad, and she buys it, and she listens to it. But that's why that group of people showed up so hard, because they get their information from mainstream media.
I believe that. I believe it in that and only mainstream media. Because I like to critique both, right? But I do find myself listening to podcasts, and I'm on YouTube probably more than I'm on any other network. And then when I do watch the news, and I'm like, okay, well, such and such gave us a little bit more details over here.
Yeah.
But I do see, I think there's some pressure being put on mainstream media from the YouTube world, the freelance world.
You hear Leslie Stahl? Yeah. She, in her interview, when she was talking about how the mainstream media has lost all of their pull, and she's nervous because she doesn't know where the information's coming from anymore. Well, I'm glad it ain't coming from you, Leslie Stahl.
That sounds crazy.
You and the folks at CBS has never.
How about it's coming from our own brains?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. They're so in a panic because they've lost the ability to influence the American people by and large. They have
and control the narrative in our brains.
They used to be able to leak it to the New York Times, whatever they wanted out there, and then from the New York Times, every other newspaper in America picks it up, and every other TV network picks it up, and the Democrats would send out their talking points, and you would see every network saying the same things, using the same language, the same verbiage, and that was all a concerted effort to mislead you, to tell you what to think and what to do. Yeah. And now people are like, all right, I don't want to do that anymore.
No, and then you have a lot of the mainstream people that were either kicked off or pushed to the side. Now they're on YouTube and they're in the YouTube world. And so they're giving all of the facts. They're telling stuff, behind the scenes stuff. People really enjoy that. Not only that, but then you have what I'm seeing is a lot of these podcasters are former like investigative journalists.
Yeah.
So you're
Catherine Herridge.
Right. There's one thing when you have like a journalist who's just reporting the story, but then when you have someone who's kind of sleuthing a little bit and talking to people behind the scenes. And I just started this book called Fight that is pretty good. And it's two journalists that are kind of telling the behind the scenes of what happened in the Democrat Party. And I am pretty fascinated. I mean, they are inside the room. They're telling you where each of these people were during the debate and everything else.
Where were they before the debate? Why didn't they tell the truth then?
You know what's
That's
so interesting?
That's the thing that drives me crazy.
What they're doing is
making money.
They're making a lot of money.
They're making money is what they're doing.
But you know what? I've thought about that, right? And I've asked myself plenty of times, like, you know, why do I feel like people seem to come out after they lose and all this other stuff? And I mean, I think it's just human nature. You know, in the moment, when you think you can win, you think you can do something, you hold back. I mean, that's human nature. It's not right. But these journalists, I don't think this information could have come out a little earlier. I don't know if it would have done anything because people were talking about it. Everyone already said
maybe not detailed information, but where are all the people like Jake Tapper, because he's got a book out too?
Oh, the girl Lindy.
Yeah. And they're saying, well, you know, it was behind the scenes, everybody knew. And I was like, okay, yeah, we all see
they're just liars.
But Jake Tapper went on TV and told me that I don't believe your eyes and your ears.
That's different.
Right.
Like, you're just straight up lying then.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like most of them, and maybe the book that you're reading is different, but it leads me to that, Dre.
Are there any details in there about, in that particular book, you said Fight?
Yeah.
Are there any details about Biden's mental state?
Yes.
During the year? Because that's the stuff that, I mean, that's the most glaring thing to me, aside from policy and everything else that's gone on with that, is how did they let that man
because
push through?
That was the plan.
That's actually the first chapter.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm reading the first chapter, and they're talking about when it was
6 months
obvious.
in.
So yes, and it's so funny. So Nancy Pelosi knew that Biden could not beat Trump. So, but instead of her telling him to his face that you can't beat Trump, according to this book, what she says to him is, "I know you can beat him, but don't debate him." So she was trying to maneuver it by maintaining his confidence and keeping his ego high.
Right.
And so she wasn't telling him the truth. Biden truly believed he could beat Trump.
Oh yeah.
And Kamala did too. And a lot of the people around them. Yes, she believed she could beat him.
Yes, of course.
So when we say, why didn't they say these things? Because a lot of these people actually believed that they could beat Trump.
Yeah.
It was very crazy.
They
think we're dumb. That's what it really is.
They not even think it. They know it.
Yeah.
They proved.
Yep.
They proved that
they felt like they
at
could
least
manipulate the people.
A bunch of the American people are willing to listen and close their eyes and close their ears because they want to believe what they're being told.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I see, which is damning, I believe.
Yeah.
To half the country. Half the country
it's
was
our nature. We want to believe people are right.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
We want to believe in good. But
I didn't see anything good coming out of it. That's what I'm saying. Not only was it misleading, it wasn't good either. So, but you're right. I know people want to, when they have this set of values, set of beliefs, they want to believe the person that shares that is doing the right thing, and that's
that we're inherently good.
Yes, and the good book says we are not.
We're not.
So immediately from the get-go, I don't trust anybody in power because I know how broken I am and I know how broken they are.
I got a stat for you. 65% of Christian. So apparently they say there's 65% of the population are believers. They believe in God, right? Only 4% of that 65% actually believe that we are inherently bad. Most people think that you're born good.
Read the Bible. The Bible tells you.
You're like, oh, I think they're going to go back to their roots.
Oh, yeah.
No. They're going back to their roots, all right.
Which is the problem. Which is the problem.
That's the problem.
Goodness gracious. Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. Janelle King in this morning for Front Office Los. He'll be back on Wednesday. When we come back, a second child dies from measles. How big of a problem is this? How much should you be worried? We will discuss it next.
Real reason.
Yeah, we'll discuss it next on Xtra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here's your sports update for Monday, April 7th. After a rainout on Sunday, the Braves are off today. Sunday's game against the Marlins has been rescheduled for August. Braves catcher Sean Murphy has returned from rehabbing his injury. The Braves are now 1-8. The Phillies come to town this week. The Hawks hosted the Jazz Sunday night and claimed victory 147-134. Trae Young scored 23 points with 15 assists. Onyeka Okongwu put up 27 points. The Hawks now travel to Orlando to play the Magic tomorrow night. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Hawks trail the Magic by 1 game for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. The Masters Golf Tournament practice rounds have been delayed due to weather. Last year's champion Scottie Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to win again. More details on the week's updated schedule are expected this afternoon. And the men's NCAA basketball championship game is set. Florida will take on Houston as the 2 number 1 seeds battle it out in San Antonio. Tip-off is tonight at 8:50. With your sports, I'm Jerry Payne.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes. After that transformation, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty building alone. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A trolley driver in Philadelphia who has been making people smile and feel good for 26 years makes today's Dean's List. Tracy Holmes Williams has been working for the Southeast Philadelphia Transportation Authority for over 2.5 decades and says her mission is to treat people with kindness and enjoy their commute around the city. Tracy says you're coming into her house, so she wants to make you feel good and have a nice time. Part of that journey involves uplifting quotes and posters on the inside of her trolley to inspire and keep your chin up. Tracy believes she and her colleagues are on the front lines of a civic mindset and encourages everyone to laugh or smile, to inspire others because you just never know what kind of day people are having, and it's important to try to make people feel good. Tracy Holmes Williams, it's always sunny in Philadelphia when you're around. Janice Dean, Fox News.
And a meme has a pic of Elon Musk looking out the window while smiling. The caption reads, "Watching bureaucrats you fired drive away in cars you made."
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Los is out. Janelle is in with me today. Make sure you listen to her show, The Janelle King Show, Saturdays and Sundays here on Extra and anytime, wherever you get your podcast. Always great, always insightful. It's the things that Janelle says, it's the things we talk about at the table.
Yeah, it's the kitchen table topics.
That's right.
My slogan is with kitchen table topics that are typically banned from family gatherings, but absolutely necessary for a strong republic.
Which is so true. And it's so...
I love those topics.
They're it's spotlighted for my family because I have this sweet Aunt Peg whom I love, and I think she loves me. So there's days I think she'd like to hold my head under the water, but I think she loves me.
Waterboard.
I'm telling you.
Don't do that, Aunt Peg.
Yeah, because she's like, she hates Trump. It's that hatred. It's like the protesters we played. If I ask her why, she wouldn't be able to give me an answer. Not a solid answer. He's going to be a dictator on day one. Any of the talking points, it would be all those.
Yeah.
And but she's a wonderful woman. So when you say kitchen table topics, I'm like, ooh.
I know.
Depends on the day.
I like to go there.
No, I know.
I love to go there.
But
I mean, and you know, it's funny. I did one show recently where we were talking about finances, and this is the one I enjoyed the most because I broke down different topics that you hear, like tariffs or GDP, and like what does this stuff mean? And I need the base. You got to get in the game.
Yeah,
you can't say I don't believe this or I don't understand this, so I'm going to back off. No, we got to get in the game.
Yeah, you got to understand it. You got to know it. Let's talk about measles. That was there's some. Evidence that measles are bubbling up more than usual, and they're blaming it on people taking vaccines less. I was watching.
That's not it at all.
No, I know that. Okay. Yeah,
I cannot wait to talk about this.
Yeah, so I was watching some clips from the Brady Bunch of all places. Have you seen it too? And so one of it was maybe Peter, the middle kid, comes home and he's got measles, and they're like, "Oh my goodness! Well, let's get all the kids together. That way, everybody gets it and gets, builds up the immunity." And it was like it's no big deal. Yeah. It was like you're gonna feel crummy for a day or two. It'll be fine. And now, if you hear it, it's like, oh my gosh, apocalypse, measles.
I know, it's crazy.
Be scared. Be very scared. That's kind of the presentation in the news.
I know, it's so frustrating. So, okay, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. I may have told you a little bit, but I was an unvaccinated kid. Mm-hmm. And
I got kicked out of school twice. Kindergarten.
Because you were unvaccinated?
Mama wouldn't get it done.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't happen. My parents wouldn't do it. We had, they quoted religious reasons, and we're just believers. But however, when we got the chicken pox, my mom did the same thing. I mean, we all got it together, I mean, she's like, let's just everybody catch it at the same time.
Get it over.
That being said, I think what we're not talking about is the fact that when you allow a bunch of people to walk across the border and you're telling everybody else to get vaccinated, giving everybody else the COVID shot, but you're not giving them the COVID shot or any shot of that matter, then yes, I mean, there's going to be an uptick in disease.
Yeah, I think.
This is what's happening. And guess where it is? It's isolated around Texas, which is where most of the migrants were.
That's exactly right.
So it doesn't take a brain, a brain surgeon to figure this out.
Or a rocket scientist or anything. But if you listen to the mainstream media, which we encourage you to never do, do not pay attention to anything they have to say, because it is not about informing you. It is about keeping you listening for longer times. That's how they make their money with advertising. And then they are handcuffed by big pharma that spend millions and millions and millions of dollars. So what are they not going to talk about? They're not going to talk about anything negative toward big pharma. Anything that is good for pharma, they'll talk about. Anything that's bad, they will leave out, because they're not going to risk those millions of advertising dollars to tell you the truth.
I mean, the way in which big pharma fights the integrative specialists, the holistic community, that ought to tell you right there that there's obviously something going on.
It's kind of like the school. What am I talking about? The teachers unions that are fighting school choice.
Right.
Why are they fighting that so hard?
Right. Why should it matter where the kids go if you represent all schools?
Just
what's going on?
And that's not to say there are not great teachers out there, because there are. There's so many wonderful teachers out there. Teachers unions are not wonderfand
but there are also some bad teachers.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of those too.
I mean, it's just.
And I bet good teachers can tell you which ones are the bad ones.
Exactly. And honestly, I would rather put a bunch of kids in a classroom with a good teacher than to split them up between 3 bad teachers.
Oh my gosh.
But that being said, I wanted to kind of shine light to this, because I do think we're going to see an uptick in certain diseases. I think we all need to pay attention and prepare.
Be ready for it.
Be ready for it. I recommend the wellness formula. It's a capsule that you can get online on Amazon, but it's my favorite. I mean, it's all natural, and we take it the moment we feel a sign of anything, and it just knocks it out. Everybody I recommend it to.
Heavy vitamin C, I would imagine.
Heavy everything. I mean, no, it's a lot in there. Zinc, it's a lot happening.
Yeah.
But the point is, I just think we need to pay attention to that, but don't think that it's because of vaccine.
But that's the message. That's what's out there, that RFK is anti-vax, and he's the reason that
he's anti-bad vaccines.
Exactly right. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not anti-vax per se either.
Yeah.
I'm anti-bad vaccine.
Right.
The COVID shot was not a good or effective vaccine. Everybody knows that now.
It was not.
Everybody knows it. So would you take that? No.
Right.
Would you encourage anybody else to take it? No. Yeah. Are there vaccines out there that are good? Yes.
Great point. Here's a great point that I heard. Nicole Shanahan, who was RFK's running mate.
She's terrific.
She found the Lord during this race.
I saw that.
And her interview was actually really great.
It's amazing.
She did a really good interview with Allie Beth Stuckey. And but that being said, one of the things she said that stands out to me is, she said, I was looking at the vaccines for my child, and she was saying how, if you ask questions like, what was give me the report on this, show me what happened when they tested people, what was the reactions, if you ask for that,
give me the clinical trials.
Yes, that's what it is. I couldn't think of the clinical trials. She said, if you request that for some of these vaccines that you're putting in your child, you will get major pushback. A lot of times you won't even get the information. I can't ask what's the efficacy or what happened in the trials, but I got to inject it in my baby.
Yeah, what are the reactions that people have had or children have had?
Yes, and she said some people have found that when you have an autoimmune disease, that sometimes you have a negative reaction to vaccines. Well, if you're an infant, and oftentimes you don't know your child has an autoimmune disease yet, but yet you're giving them vaccines. So it's not saying you're anti-vaccine. It's just that I should not have...
I am pro-information.
Yes, and it shouldn't be hard for me to get it.
But yet, it is.
Right.
And yet, it's painted in the media as you're some sort of wacko. Right. You're crazy because you don't just willfully trust the government to inject your child with whatever the number of vaxes is the days of. I know it's grown exponentially
by like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, crazy.
And the reason I think personally that it's grown all these autoimmune diseases, different allergies and stuff like that, you've got to look at what's in the food, which is exactly what RFK is doing, cleaning up the food.
Peanut butter allergies.
Oh,
my
man,
son,
please.
Right. When I was a kid, I never heard anybody being allergic to peanuts. And now you're going to be like, okay, Boomer, that's an old way of thinking. That's an old way of talking.
No, it's not.
I don't think it is either.
No,
don't even say peanut on an airplane.
Right. Why is it bad for me to wonder why that's bubbled up so much? Yeah. Why is that happening so much? Why are there so many? My son, who's 20 now, was allergic to everything. My wife and I are allergic to nothing, and he's allergic to everything. It just the addition doesn't work. It makes me wonder why.
It's funny. I think about that even with Kelvin. We have a 10-year difference, and so he's a Gen Xer. I'm a millennial, and he's not allergic to anything at all. Now, me on the other hand, I'm allergic to avocado. I'm allergic to shrimp. That just came out of nowhere. The shrimp. I don't know where that came from, but anyway. But I do have those 2 allergies. But then I look at my generation, and to your point, there are a lot of people, and I didn't get vaccinated, so I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that was my story. However, there are a lot of people I know from my generation that has tons of allergies as millennials.
Jacob had 9.
Right. It's like, what's going on? Where is this coming from?
Milk, eggs, oats, barley, wheat, rice,
stuff
fish,
we've been eating
shellfish.
Since the beginning of time.
Absolutely. He was allergic to everything. Right. The only thing the kid could have was vegetables, meat, and any of those, which has turned out to be good for him. The food that he got was, nourishing and wasn't filled with all the fillers because he was allergic to all the fillers.
Let me tell you when we come back from the break about gluten.
Yes.
Because I was told I had a gluten allergy, and then I figured out I did not.
Oh, interesting. All right. We'll talk about that as well as the UK Prime Minister Starmer says globalism is dead. Wow. Next on Extra.
If he is successful, the best accomplishment of the Trump administration will be getting rid of the useless Department of Education.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Are you tired of dealing with drafty, inefficient windows? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage Entry Doors and Windows. It's time to upgrade these old windows. Replace them with double pane, beautiful, energy-efficient windows. Your new windows will help you regulate a perfect temperature throughout your house. Start saving big money on your energy bills and improve the curb appeal of your home. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Sonders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
At Nelson Elder Care Law, we understand that family's everything. That's why we prioritize your family's future with personalized asset protection solutions. Call us today to schedule your legacy planning meeting and discover how our team can tailor our services to meet your family's unique needs, ensuring a secure and worry-free future. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
With over $1 trillion in interest payments, the government is borrowing money just to pay the interest. That isn't going to change. The financial system is under a pressure it cannot sustain. And the hard truth is, you are responsible for your retirement. And you have to get prepared. Because if you don't, there are consequences, and the consequences are not going to be kind. This isn't about fear. I don't want to scare you. It's about reality. And if you're not making moves to protect and prepare, you're leaving your retirement to chance. And hope is not a strategy. It's time to act. Before the markets start to act up, own some gold. If you want to know why gold could be your best performing asset in 2025, call Lear Capital today at 800-889-3070 for your free $4,200 gold report. See why gold could be headed for record highs in 2025. Call 800-889-3070 and ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. 800-889-3070.
Fox on Tech. Sunday was a very important anniversary in the world of consumer technology. It's when the PC world took a leap through a window. Microsoft debuted Windows version 3.1 on April 6th of 1992. It would go on to become the first commercially successful graphic user interface operating system for the non-Mac world. Back then, we called those types of computers IBM compatible. Windows 3.1 was a step forward for Microsoft in its attempt to match the ease of use demonstrated by Apple's Macintosh. It featured accelerated graphics. It supported sound cards, CD-ROMs, 9600 baud dial-up modems for the new online services like Prodigy or CompuServe. But like Windows 1 and 2 before it, 3.1 was still just an add-on to DOS. Remember C-prompts, C:\dir? Windows 3.1 retailed for $149. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
Another big sell-off looms in the stock market. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Dow futures down almost 800 points after the Dow lost almost 4,000 last Thursday and Friday. And the worry about President Trump's new tariffs on almost all imports is worldwide. Markets are plunging overseas, almost 8% overnight in Japan, 13% in Hong Kong.
Trump expressing uncertainty about today's market performance, but maintained that the tariffs will help the United States.
Fox's Brooke Singman.
The administration is open to tariff negotiations with worldwide leaders, and the president says he's already spoken with some who are urging him to lower some of those tariffs.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country.
Now, a few minutes ago, the president posted on Truth Social, there is no inflation. Oil and food prices are down, and so are interest rates. Now, Democrats say that what's happening with the Trump policy is reckless, and they predict the tariffs will cause inflation. Senator Chris Coons tells Fox News Sunday.
They're going to pay more for fruits and vegetables, gas, cars, furniture, clothing. It's going to make America less affordable, not more affordable.
Now back to President Trump. He talked to reporters on Air Force One flying back to Washington last night. He'll meet today at the White House with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
There's a lot of things going on with the Middle East right now that have to be silenced.
As Israel and Hamas keep waging war.
About 10 projectiles flew from Gaza towards Israel, the largest Hamas rocket barrage since fighting resumed last month. Roughly half were intercepted, with some damage to buildings. One man was lightly hurt. In response, the Israeli military took out the rocket launchers, first ordering Palestinians to evacuate several neighborhoods in central Gaza.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. More than 30 Palestinians were killed in a flooding disaster in parts of the south from storms blamed for now at least 19 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Does your friend listen to an old station whose news gives them the blues? Set your friend right. Tell him to download the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Good Monday morning to y'all. Appreciate you being here. 404-741-1230. Los out until Wednesday. Today, Janelle King from the Janelle King Show that you hear weekends here on Extra 106.3. And anytime, wherever you get your podcast or at thepodcastpark.com. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Absolutely.
I know it's
I
a
love
little
it.
bit of a sloppy, rainy, wet morning outside. I know the folks at the Masters were probably going to get rained out today in the practice rounds. Are they? Is it officially rained out?
They said stay away today. I think it's rain. They might try to get some practice in, but no one from the public.
Yeah. So some of the folks from the office were headed over there this morning, and I knew they were in a kind of in a holding pattern last night because they said that even if it were to pass and we were to get the practice rounds in, that was going to be delayed until at least 8:30, 9 o'clock or something like that. Now Jeray's saying everything's been pushed off altogether.
It's a little bit of a swamp over there.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Braves got rained out yesterday with all the crazy weather, but they're not playing really, really good baseball right now at all. So
we did bring home one. We did bring home the win.
We went Friday night.
That was the one game we went to, and
right.
I didn't know you were there.
Yes, we were.
Oh man, we didn't connect.
Yeah, well, I didn't know
I
you
saw
were there.
Dickie.
Yeah, you saw Dickie. Okay,
I did.
What was he up to? Where was he?
I just saw him when he kind of skips down the steps to go to his seat.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm like, there's David.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so we just we went and it was great to see him hit the baseball for once.
Right.
And
score.
And then Saturday they did not. Yesterday delayed, so Mark's safe from losing, which is good. Trace.
Yeah, can't lose on a rainy day.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure David was in a good mood as the 680 is now 12 more years?
12 more years of Braves radio over on the Fan, which was a huge announcement on Friday with the Atlanta Braves, and Derek Schiller came over and they made that announcement. And while we were on that, I didn't even know until we got off the air. So I was like, hold up, they made a huge announcement. I had no idea. And so, yeah, it was super good that and our studios will be here for another 12 years at least, if not longer. And
awesome.
And the relationship between Dickey Broadcasting
I'm
and
happy
the Atlanta
about that.
Braves continues. Yeah, it's great. Makes it easy as you're rocking your Braves hat this morning.
I am. Go Braves.
Absolutely. I want to get into this. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, says globalism is dead.
We're talking to the Prime Minister about it, and we'll see how that turns out. We have a very good dialogue going. And I think he was very happy about how we treated them with tariffs.
How we treated them with tariffs. Now, I don't know that I believe that Keir Starmer believes that globalism is dead. Is it in full retreat? Yes, I do believe that is the case. And here's the announcement that came out. Globalization doesn't work for a lot of working people. We don't believe trade wars are the answer. This is a chance to show there's a different path. Trump has done something that we don't agree with, but there's a reason why people are behind him. The world has changed. Globalization is over. We are in a new era. And that is according to Keir Starmer. So, it sounds good on the surface, but it's like communism, I believe. It's like they get it as far as they can go, and then they know they get kicked out of office, just like the Biden administration was kicked out. I mean, because they are globalists, Marxists, nationalists, communists, all of it. Socialists, throw it all in there. Marxists, it all works together. It's all big, witches brew, as we discussed in the last hour. So they push the ball down the field as far as they possibly can, and then they get rejected and kicked out. And then about 4 or 5 years, when 6 years, 8 years, whatever, when the American people are lulled back to sleep, then they pop back up and then they try it again and try to move the ball further down the field. And I do believe that's the way it works with globalism too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do not by any means. I like the way you put that. I don't think it's gone. I don't think it's dead. I think that it is, like as Thomas Sowell talks about racism, I think it's on life support.
That's right.
And it's only kept alive by those who want to keep it alive.
Sure.
That being said, I'm watching two things. I'm watching digital currency and I'm watching AI.
Yeah.
Like those two things make me feel like globalism is by no means dead,
Right.
particularly digital currency.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not a fan of bringing digital currency into the government. I don't want the government to have anything to do with it because I don't want them to put us on a universal financial system. Do I think it's going to come? I do. As a believer,
Well, the
I
good
have
book
no
says it
choice
is.
but believe it is going to come.
That's exactly right. So I think that's why I worry less about it. Because I know.
Because you know it's coming.
Yeah. The good book's already told me what's happening.
Yeah.
And I believe that with everything that is me. What the Bible says, I believe 100%. And you can call me and say I'm a fool, and I will gladly take your call.
Do you support it?
Do I support? No. You can. Yeah, you can not support it and know it's bad.
Elected officials who support it.
Well, I voted for Donald Trump, and he supports it. So I guess, yeah. So yeah, I do. I guess in that way. Do I own any? No. Do I plan to buy any? No. Not right now.
Yeah.
Unless I'm forced to do it. And at some point, I do believe we will be forced to do it.
I think so too. And you know what? I wonder what Trump thinks about globalism as it relates to digital currency. I want to see what he's going to do. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he may support these private businesses by allowing them to not be hampered
Instead of like a United States digital currency.
Yes.
Right.
I don't. If he starts talking about that, then I'm gonna have a problem.
Yeah. He gonna lose me there too. But
I wonder.
I don't know how you get around it.
Yeah.
It's going to take. I mean, think about it. We don't use cash now.
It's like AI too, right?
Well, yes. Well, that's.
You can't get around it.
They're totally different.
I know.
But and have totally different issues, but are very much part of a bigger thing that's happening around the world that I don't know that we have control of. AI, as you were talking earlier during the break, when you were talking about Kelvin, your husband, being sick.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so no, he got food poisoning, and God, that was just like the worst. I mean, he had like the worst case ever. I hated it. That being said, I was on chat just like, asking questions because I felt like, there's
Was it like an insurance chat?
Yeah, no, it was just a regular chat GPT.
Okay.
And I just said, I was like, man, he's not doing this, so what should I do? Just because I wanted to see, like, we've all fought food poisoning. The way in which chat was interacting with me was concerning. I felt like I was talking to a person.
Well, yeah,
I
that's the whole
slightly
point.
felt comforted in this moment.
That was the whole point.
Oh no, that's okay. Look and see, feel. It was telling me things to do, like to make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh my God, this is getting a little
I feel
scary.
like I'm talking with the devil.
Right.
Or at least something like it.
I asked Calvin when he felt better, and everything was. I asked him. I said, would you want to have a robot in our house? That just like, let's just say you wake up and
like
then they're standing in your door. Yes, that's what they're
Rosie.
planning.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, it's already here.
That's exactly right.
There are some people that already have the robots.
So we know there's a little Mexican restaurant right down the road from our house. And they have two that bring the food to the table, and it tells jokes to the kids, and it's all kind. And my thing is, the restaurant
in Jekyll too.
What's that?
They're in Jekyll Island.
Do they still ask for a tip?
No.
Well, no, because they're just there to assist the waiters and waitresses.
Okay.
It's more. But my thing
they're
is
easing them in.
Yes, my thing that stands out to me is the people that serve the food, the servers that you will tip ultimately, Dre. They literally put the food on the robot,
right?
And then the robot brings it, and then they take the food. I mean, it just seems like
it's like, why are you here?
It seems like an extra step. And I know we're in the infancy of it, but I bet people have seen these. It's not just not just near our house.
We were in
We've seen them.
California.
Okay.
California already has we were just walking with the robots that were just riding beside us, delivering food to all the different places.
I've seen
and then
the
they have
Chick-fil-A
those
robots.
the cars that drive by themselves.
Okay, the autonomous.
I mean, yes, my sister-in-law said that she puts my nephew and his friends in them because it's safer. I mean, there's no driver; they can track it. It's there's no adults.
They put their children in there?
Oh yes,
Where does it go to?
To wherever they want. It's like getting an Uber. It shows up. You put your kids in.
Are they in San Francisco?
It takes them. Yes, it can't go. No. They're in LA.
Okay.
But it won't go on the highways.
Okay.
It just and we see them. We're just driving along and it's right beside us, a car with no driver.
That's coming to Atlanta, too.
Yeah, it is.
Lyft had a big contract. Yep. Yeah, they're coming in May, I think.
That's right.
Bunch of minivans out there.
That's right.
They're already here. So
and over at Avalon in Alpharetta, they have the robots for Chick-fil-A. That deliver, because when my son was working at Avalon at Onward Reserve, he would need lunch or something, and I would
brings it to them.
He would either call me or call the robot.
Yeah.
and the robot would just bring it by. He was like, sometimes they miss. and I would have to run down the street and just like stop it.
They're trying to perfect it.
Yeah, it's still.
We saw one that was trapped like in front of a tree. It was trying to break free, and
Is
I was
it like your Roomba when it gets caught up under something?
Yes, that's what
and
it
just
looked
keeps
like.
bouncing off
Yes,
things?
it was so funny.
I can see it in a place like Avalon or even here at the Battery. It seems like it would make sense here.
Yeah.
But I saw one up by some railroad tracks up in Woodstock about a month or two ago, and I was like, that thing looks lost. That thing ain't it's not 4-wheel drive equipped, I don't think.
Living in a van.
Well, and then what's interesting too is when I was messaging, even though we're talking about food poisoning, I thought about the children, right, who get on these and start conversations with these things
and don't realize that they're
not talking to a person.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're not talking to a person.
But that's the whole point, right? Is to train up the next generation to not think anything of it.
Right.
I mean, I guess that's progress in some ways.
Desensitizing us.
Yeah, but I think, especially when it's that. And then when you bring in AI, which that's what the port workers, the dock workers were angry about, right? Because AI is going to replace them.
Oh my God, AI is going to replace every service industry.
And I've never been a fan of that whole universal income, basic income thing. You know who is? Elon Musk.
Is
and
he?
He's always been in favor of that because he feels like technology, like, are you going to even have a job?
So he
and I
feels
don't know.
bad for what he's creating.
Yeah. And I suppose that'd be the only thing.
I mean.
And if it takes, let's say it takes over 50% of jobs, just random number, I don't know, just making it up. 50% of people are out of work.
No, it's going to be.
And it'll probably be more.
Oh, man.
I mean, you're already seeing it in the tech sector.
I know.
Where, like, the people that, those Silicon Valley folks that are being replaced daily by AI doing the tasks that they used to do and make a grip of money, just make a living off of.
We're in construction, and I saw a video of this machine that was repairing a roof without any human intervention.
Wow.
It was literally up there, and it was stapling down all the little things. Yes, the shingles. It was repairing a roof.
Wow.
Now, that's typically, I know my husband, he's going to call in if I get this wrong, but I think.
Kelvin, show us some grace.
Oh, my gosh. But I'm assuming, I think from what I've seen, about 3 to 4 people, typically, if depending on the size of the roof, obviously,
yeah, sure.
But 3 to 4 people to actually repair a home, a nice size home roof, right? Yeah. That machine just took 3 to 4 jobs, right? I mean, we're talking the labor industry.
Yeah.
But then again, I had this thought in my mind. I know our subs that are struggling, and sometimes they struggle to find good, hard laborers, people that's going to do the job.
Yeah, sure.
So I thought, and I said to myself, man, that would really help small businesses. But then I thought, there's nothing like hammering, having a human being hammer. Like, we're going to build a home, and I think Kelvin's going to actually want them to hammer in nails, not even use the electric.
Yeah.
Because it's just not as, sturdy.
Yeah, sure.
But it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no stopping it. That's the thing. There's no stopping it.
Yeah.
When we're just we're in the infancy of it.
Yes.
And we're already amazed by the things that it can do. Can you imagine what it'll be fast forward 20 years from now?
Yep.
And what the world will look like, what America will look like, what the state of Georgia will look like, the city of Atlanta.
No one's going to be driving.
No one.
That's getting
Think about that.
crazy.
Think about that for a little while.
Right.
I couldn't wait when I was 16 years old to get my driver's. I could not wait.
I was terrified that the Lord would come back before I could drive. That used to be a total fear of mine as a little
let me
kid.
drive.
Right? I just want to drive.
But I'll tell you, when my son got his license when he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting. He wanted to drive, yes, but it wasn't like I wanted to drive. Like I didn't see it, and it was. And then he had a bunch of friends that just didn't even get their license. And now they ultimately have, but they waited a couple of years. They got it when they were 17. I guess.
Wow.
I don't know the reason. There was just a lack of interest.
I don't think
driving.
anyone's going to be driving.
I don't either.
Can you imagine when you don't know how to take yourself from point A to point B?
Yeah, it's terrible to think about.
We are going to be, oh my God.
You're going to be at the
mercy of all the robots.
And AI. And what happens when, your car, your Uber car or your Lyft, as Dre was talking about, you tell it to take you to the Battery Atlanta to Dickey Broadcasting Company, and it takes you to the airport.
Right.
Like, what do you do? You
don't know how to get anywhere.
Do you knock on? Like, who do you tell?
That's a perfect example. I think it started. I think about my generation, right? I told Kelvin, I cannot read a map. I have no idea how to read a map.
Oh, wow.
I can't.
I had to do it in the Navy.
We had MapQuest when I was a kid,
and you
right?
Just print it out
and read the instructions.
Yeah.
My dad had the map.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He had it on the hood trying to figure out the best way to get around the traffic.
It's like in the middle of the console, and I mean, it's a whole setup thing, right?
Yeah.
But I could, if I had to do it, I guess I would try to figure it out, but I've never had to read a map.
Yeah.
So now we have kids who they really don't have to drive.
No.
They can just jump in Ubers.
That's right. And they definitely can't read a map. I know my son can't read a map.
No,
and
no
I'm
sense of direction.
Embarrassed to say I'm not sure he could change a tire if he needed to. I'm not positive.
Yeah, he could.
I would like to think so.
Lefty, loosey, righty, tighty.
No, I'd like to think so, but I don't remember teaching him. I don't remember us going through this. I don't remember.
That should be a weekend thing.
No, I know, and he's 20.
My dad taught me.
Yeah, and it was funny because I remember when my wife and I were first married early on. She had no idea how to change a tire, and there was an elderly couple that had a flat tire in front of us on a little road that we were going down to go to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving, and I got out and changed their tire, and she was so surprised. She was like, "I didn't know you knew how to do that," and I was like, "Well, yeah, you got to be able to change a tire." But then life has just taken us in a different direction, and I don't recall teaching Jacob to change a tire, and it's very embarrassing.
Top of mind because
we've never had a flat tire on the road to be able to show him.
Right.
And it would have been smart just there in the front yard to get out the jack it up, take it off, show him, and then put it back on. But you're running so fast these days.
Yeah,
and
but
so
he's
hard.
So smart. I totally think he could do it. Once he knocked those bolts off, I think he could figure it out.
Maybe. I sure hope so. Because he's going to be a bad
shape. Those bolts tight. I remember my dad used to be like, Janelle, I want you to stand on that crowbar. Don't just rely on your arm. I was like, okay. He said, no, you stand on the crowbar. I said,
can
okay.
see why you would say that right now.
Now I really get it.
Yeah.
But back then, I was like, oh.
My goodness. So anyway, when we come back, Tim Walz said the Democrats should take blame for hiding Biden, but then went on to say one more thing that you'll need to know. And guess what? It's all Trump's fault. Of course. Next on Xtra.
The Morning Xtra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Xtra 106.3.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Cowart for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. This week's guests are Milton Chief of Police Jason Griffin and Milton First Responders Foundation board members Brian Dolan and Robin Pinto. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
The president says he wants to lead the race to dominate AI. He's smart and he's playing 4D chess because the whole world is about to change quickly. But AI is not just about technology. It's about military, financial, economic dominance. But it's going to cost us. AI is set to disrupt the global balance of power beyond anything you could even imagine, beyond the atom bomb. This could be why the U.S. is scrambling to reclaim all the gold from overseas. Some say gold is going to be revalued at $5,000 an ounce to help fund America's AI dominance. Think it can't happen? It already did in 1934. We're in a race with China and Russia, and gold may be the winner. So find out in Lear's latest report, AI and Gold's Revaluation. So call Lear Capital at 800-889-3070. Do it right now for your free report. And when you call Lear at 800-889-3070, you're also going to receive a free gold investor kit and up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. Trump is moving fast, and you should too. 800-889-3070. 800-889-3070.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Escape from the city into an outdoor sanctuary offering 36 holes of championship golf at Stone Mountain Golf Club. Located inside Georgia's most visited attraction, Stone Mountain Golf Club offers golfers of all skill levels 2 unforgettable golf courses. Stonemont, designed by Robert Trent Jones Sr., will test every club in your bag and offers an official U.S. Kids Golf Family course. Lakemont features stunning vistas of Stone Mountain while winding around the lake, providing an unforgettable golf experience. With resort accommodations at the Atlanta Evergreen Lakeside Resort, our stay and play package offers a perfect getaway for buddies groups, couples, and families. Our full-service restaurants offer delicious food and beverages and is open 7 days a week to serve you. Our PGA professional staff would be delighted to help plan your next company or charity tournament and provide an exceptional experience for your organization. Plan your escape to Stone Mountain Golf Club by visiting stonemountaingolfclub.com for more information.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check them out online at atlturfco.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, April 7th. Power has been restored for most Georgians after severe weather on Sunday. About 6,000 were left in the dark Sunday evening. Response teams are working to restore power. A flood watch remains in effect for most of North Georgia. The Georgia legislative session is over. Georgia senators exited abruptly Friday night, earlier than House members expected. Among the passed bills, an expansion of the child tax credit, a religious liberties bill, and a state income tax cut. Georgia representatives were upset that the senators left the session early. The Masters Golf Tournament at Augusta National has been delayed due to weather. Patron gates will not be open today. Further details about updated scheduling are expected this afternoon. Today's weather: rain continues throughout the metro area, clearing up this afternoon. Scattered showers throughout the evening give way to cooler temperatures this week. We'll have temperatures in the high 50s this evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10. Los out until Wednesday. He's buying and selling homes. I mean, he's wheeling and dealing out there. Janelle King joining us this morning. Make sure you listen to her show Saturdays and Sundays here on Xtra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast. The Podcast Park, another location. Yeah. Any place, any of those podcast advocate what's
platforms.
The word? Platforms, but to aggregators is what I was looking for. Yeah, but platforms is probably the
you pulled that one out.
Man.
Watch out for them Gators.
That's exactly right. Yeah. They're going to the national championship, I hear.
That's right.
Against the Houston Cougars, which upset Duke. Oh
God, Kelvin's a Duke fan.
Is he?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that was not a good day.
I went to bed at halftime.
He was okay though. He's not one of those guys that Kelvin got real stuff to do.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So he's not one of those guys that like.
Isn't it interesting how people do tie sport? And I used to be guilty of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Georgia losing would change my weekend.
I know, it's like you'd be like emotionally drained.
Yes.
I don't know. That's so fascinating to me in men. I don't see that. But then again, in women, we do it too.
In different ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do it anymore. I have not done that in probably 20 years.
You got real stuff going on.
It'll sneak up on me once in a while, and I'm be mad about something, but I usually let it go.
I got so calloused after the Falcons Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
and then the Braves when the Braves got one, when the Braves got their World Series, recent memory.
Yeah.
I rode the high on that, but like the beginning of this season, I'm just like, maybe it's not their year. They'll work it out.
What I don't like is I don't like that they are talking about like looking at Snicker as if maybe it's his time. I love Snicker. He's my favorite. He's my absolute favorite.
Best,
if he's not sitting there with that grimace look, I'm not gonna be happy.
That's right.
Okay.
I love Snit.
Him and Melanson. When they got rid of Melanson, I'm still upset about that.
Okay. Yeah. Snit is the greatest guy you'll ever meet in your whole life. His wife Ronnie's as sweet as you'll ever meet. They are wonderful, wonderful people.
I really like him. I think he's really good, a really good coach.
He is, absolutely. Waited 40 years for the opportunity. Hank Aaron gave him his first job. Hank Aaron cut him and said, "You're not, we don't see you as a player in our organization anymore." But he said, I see value in your coaching ability. Would you consider being a coach for the Atlanta Braves in the minor leagues? And of course, Snit, in the moment, because he wanted to be a player, was angry and told him no and left. And a couple days later, calls Hank on the phone, says, I changed my mind. I think I would like to.
Wow. I didn't know
Changed
that.
the course of his history. Hank Aaron did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fabulous
That's
story.
the reason, Hank. That's the reason, and obviously Snit gives Hank Aaron all the credit for giving him the opportunity to be a World Series winning champion.
That is fabulous.
Yeah, it's a super cool
oh my God,
story.
I'm going to defend him.
Yeah,
No, don't
he's
get rid of
terrific.
Snick.
No.
And the things that are going wrong with the Braves right now, I don't think you can put on him.
No, it's injuries.
It's injuries, and one of the players that was supposed to come in and be a star this year is gone for half the season.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw Kelvin under the bus really quick because he's going to be like, oh my God, but don't tell anybody. But no, he made a great point. He said, we don't need to look at Snicker. We need to look at these trainers.
Yeah.
And some of these coaches that's supposed to be working with these people because why they have so many injuries. And he's like, Kelvin's a former athlete.
Yeah, he would know.
So he's like, they're not being trained properly. They keep getting injured.
Something ain't right.
Something's wrong.
Something
the
ain't
medical team, he was calling them out.
We're
so
looking up. We're looking under every stone.
Every stone, but it's not going to be
stone.
Snicker.
That's right. It ain't Snit. Alex and Thomas, he can go.
Right.
Before we get rid of Brian Snicker.
No.
We got the Snit Defense Fund in here.
Yes. We're not getting rid of him.
I still like AA. I'm still in.
Me too. Me too. I kid. I think Alex and Thomas did a great job.
Nope, I got your back.
It's just not. It's not going to go your way every time. It's just not. And I know huge Braves fans don't want to hear that, and I don't want to hear it. I love
baseball.
It is.
He won the World Series without Acuna.
I know, right? Come on,
the guy can coach.
That's right. If you take away from him now. Then you have to give him credit for winning the World Series without the potentially the number one player in all of baseball at the time.
Give him a shot.
That's
These
right.
guys, he's going to work with him. He's going to work with him. And the bench, this is the bench's job. Okay, look, this is why I need to be a Braves host.
We gotta
I don't know much about baseball, but I can talk about baseball.
That's right. Add that to the repertoire of Janelle King. She'll do the Janelle King show and give you the politics of Georgia and the United States of America and the world, if need be, as well as an in-depth coverage of the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
We need to move her over to 680 The Fan and set her in there.
I got some things to say.
Atlanta Braves Today, part of that show. And look, I love
it'll be fun. Maybe for one day. Look, it'll be fun. I think I'll bring in some women.
That's right. Hey, you know what? We've learned that this station has incredible listenership from women.
Yes.
We just learned that in the last few months that women are listening to the show.
And we like baseball
more than ever before. And then you add in the baseball thing. Goodness gracious.
Yes. No. I hear mostly from women as far as extra. I mean, Morning Extra.
Sure, yeah.
It's mostly women that does listen to your show.
I love it. I invite women all the time because it's two guys.
Yeah.
I feel like we need the perspective of a woman all the time. But to keep us.
I don't know, like women, I mean, it's so interesting because a lot of times I think like women like listening to mostly men. Because,
my wife would say that.
I mean, I do too. I prefer to listen to
my wife
mostly
says the
men.
same thing.
And it's funny because my listeners, I was looking at my data and most of my listeners are men.
Interesting.
I know. So I have all the men and you have all the ladies.
There you go. Absolutely. We'll take it.
Everyone's wondering, what do they say when we're not around? What's really on their mind?
Yeah, exactly. Can't read
I know.
them.
That's
Can't read those
that
ladies.
is. I mean, that's something that we do think about. It's like, what are guys talking about when we're not around?
That's exactly right. And I still would like to know. And I've been married for 24 years and I have no idea. Not even a good guess.
But we
most of
like
the time.
baseball because it's easy to watch.
Well,
You know, it's
right.
just one ball. It's going to
Yeah,
come at you.
absolutely.
It's not 45 men running at the same time.
That's right. Yeah.
Over one little ball.
Yeah, it's easy. Well, but
I
then
can
you
never
get
see
some of
where it is.
the some of the rules can be tricky. And I see that.
But we don't watch for the rules.
No, I know that. No, my
I
wife
just
has
listen
made
for
it
the
clear.
sound.
Yeah, that's right. I know what's going on.
Right.
Pop of the mitt.
Right. I just know what's going on.
Crack of the bat.
Right.
Either one. I love it. So I want to, a man that could have been our vice
Talking about
president.
rules.
Yeah. A man that could have been our vice president, Tim Walz, a man that waves with two hands.
When you said that, oh my God.
Yeah, it's the truth. He came out, the first time I saw him, he was waving with two hands.
You're right. That looks so weird.
I was like,
Men don't do that.
I know zero dudes that do that.
Men don't do
Zero dudes that do that. And here he came out. I mean, he looked like he was a Spartan cheerleader or something. From Saturday Night Live. Just Sherry O'Terry and Will Ferrell. Just out there double hand waving. And I was like, well, that's not. And then, and then they tried to sell us on him being super manly with football. He was a football coach. And he said, we're going to run a pick six. I'm like, well, buddy, that ain't something you run. That's the last thing you want happening. There's no running a pick six, Tim. Maybe they should have vetted him a little more. And then when they took him hunting, I don't know if you saw him go hunting.
No,
Could
but
not
I
load
can
a shotgun.
imagine.
Could not load a shotgun to save his life. I'm like, you're selling me. The Democrats were selling me that this is a guy's guy and that he was going to compliment Kamala Harris and this was going to win over men until they saw him wave with two hands and it was over. We didn't even get to the pick six. We didn't even get to not being able to load the shotgun. The double hand wave was enough for us to be like, we're out. We're out.
It's so funny. I saw them talking about, so I was watching MSNBC or something, and they were doing an actual discussion. No, it was CNN. They had an actual discussion around a subset of men, like the men who watch UFC and any type of like aggressive stuff. And I told
Like action
Kelvin,
sports or
I
whatever.
said, Kelvin, so straight men is now a constituent base?
I guess so.
Because that's really what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what
because
that's
every
what it sounds
straight
like.
man I know,
Yeah.
and I every single straight man I know watches some sort of contact sport.
Yeah,
Either it's
football.
it's boxing,
Yeah, sure.
it's something. Even golf that's competitive. It may not be as far as contact, but it is a very
It's
mental,
super-
competitive
super.
game.
Well, athletics altogether. Any sports,
Yes.
baseball. So-
I don't know any man who's straight who doesn't watch something
Yeah.
that kind of, gets that testosterone
Yeah,
going.
sure. Yeah, it's natural.
Only Democrats are trying to like kill testosterone.
Yeah,
like they
well-
want men to have more estrogen.
Yeah.
It's like you need to be softer.
Which is why there was such a reaction this last presidential cycle.
Yes.
I mean, Donald Trump, for all of his negatives, as far as like his past, some of the things he's done in the past.
He's a man.
He's a dude. He is a dude. There is no doubt
Ask
about
Melania.
it. Ask Melania. He is a dude.
Like he is all man
Yeah.
and sometimes the worst forms of it.
Absolutely.
Not toxic. I don't think there's anything
No,
toxic about masculinity.
No, me either.
But I do think that there are some men that
Sure.
take their masculinity too far sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah, and he said
he's
some
that.
things that upset people, whatever. But he's a dude.
He's a dude.
And there was no masking the fact that Tim Walz was not.
No.
He is not.
Well,
he's
he put tampons in a men's bathroom.
that's just adding to that's just piling
Why does
on
he
now.
know what a tampon is? Like,
Yeah.
why is he having any discussion around tampons?
Well, no, look, there's been those times. I remember when my son was about, I don't know, Jacob was about 8, and Laura called me. We're on the way home from ball practice. She's like, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you stop by the grocery store and pick me up a couple things?
Yeah.
And we go to the aisle, and he was like, Daddy, what are we doing in this aisle? And I was like, we're picking up something for your mama. And he was like, well, what is that? And we went through the menstrual cycle right there on aisle 8.
Well, good. I mean, he should know.
Yeah, exactly. In public.
The process.
Right. Of course he should. And so I explained it to him right there, and he's like, let's talk about something else. Whatever. But that's the,
He should know, but he should not be going there and saying, I want to put this in my bathroom in case I need it.
Which is the whole point. Knowledge, yes. Understanding, yes.
Right.
But with that knowledge and understanding you should know, you do know, Tim Walz knows, my son knows, every dude knows.
Right.
There's no need for tampons in the boys' bathroom.
There's no need. I'm confused.
Zero needs.
What's happening
Yeah,
here?
zero needs for that.
I mean, and if there's a girl who identifies as a boy who is going into the bathroom, then if she needs that, then that should tell her that I'm sorry,
You're in the wrong
but
spot.
you're not
You're in the wrong spot.
what you think you are.
Yes, well,
Your body is telling you what you are.
That's right. Biology. is telling for all the follow the science people.
Yeah, I mean, the science has told us, and it has shown us.
Biology is clear. I want to play you this clip though from the double hand waiver. Tim Walz said the Democrats should, yes, take the blame for hiding Joe Biden's cognitive decline, but then just went on to talk about Trump after that.
Don't you think your party needs to acknowledge that President Biden was not up for the job of running for re-election and that this was a major mistake by the
He made that
Democrats?
decision.
I know, but you all went along with
he
the
made that
idea that he
decision.
was up for it, and he wasn't. And everybody saw it, and the country rejected it.
Yeah, well, look, history will tell us to go back on that. That very well could be the case, Jake. What I'm concerned about is learning from those lessons. I would hope we would never do it again, make a mistake, make sure we go through and get someone. But I don't know where it helps us going forward. I certainly am deeply concerned that Donald Trump is going to lead us down a horrific... Look,
here we go.
Thank God it's tariffs that he said. Donald Trump listens to no one. Remember, Donald Trump has statements about... I don't think nuclear war would be that bad. I guess we're lucky that he went after tariffs instead of that route. Yeah. We have an issue in this country that is going to impact us. And if there is not a loyal opposition, if there's not some soul searching on our side, if there's not reaching out to those folks who are in the streets, they're leading right now.
So
sounds jealous.
He does very much so. But what else are you going to say? I mean, you're going to have to shift the blame because you're not going to sit there and say, yeah, we did this wrong, we did that, even though that would be smart.
Yeah.
Even though the American people already know it. And you should probably say, yeah, we handled it wrong. Be honest. Be upfront about it.
They can't be honest.
They can't.
They can't. That's
exactly
the
right,
problem,
man.
but that's the only way. No one is coming back to the Democrat Party until they tell the truth. The truth that we all saw. You can't keep making up stories. You can't keep acting like, oh, well, maybe we should have said something. Maybe Biden was declining. No, you knew. You were having
Everybody
discussions
knew.
about it.
We all knew.
Everybody knew. I mean, you lied to us. You didn't just, make believe or kind of like fantasize or tell us, well, it could be. No, you straight up lied to us. And
Without
now you're trying to backtrack, right?
Like a dog on ice.
Without taking responsibility.
That's exactly right. Maybe we should have. They said history will show. Yes, history will show.
History has shown.
Has shown already.
We see
That's
it.
exactly right.
He sounds crazy. He sounds ridiculous.
He sounds just as silly as his two-handed wave. That's what he sounds like.
Or that last line when he said, well, maybe we'll never make a mistake again.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Only Democrats will say something so absurd. Of course you're going to make a mistake.
And that's what I say about Trump all the time. Though I support him and think he's trending in the right direction and doing the right things, there are going to be hiccups. There are going to be speed bumps.
And he's going to own them.
And he will own them.
And he's
That's
going to
the
own
difference.
them. And I do
that's the
appreciate
difference.
that. He's going to say, look, made a mistake. That was wrong. Shouldn't have done that. Let's bring him back. Let's change it. That's what we're supposed to do.
Just like with the Signal thing, with the Signal app, right?
Yes. Oh, God.
Very embarrassing. Was it stupid? Absolutely. Was it a mistake? Absolutely.
Us millennials and Gen Z.
But they owned it.
They
did.
it.
They said we did it. They said they never denied it. Mm-hmm. They never denied it. And if that would have been the Biden White House, they would have denied
Yeah.
from the get-go.
You know the emoji where you have your hand over your face?
Yeah.
That's every millennial
The
and
hand
every
slap.
Gen Zer when they accidentally put someone in the Signal group.
Yeah.
I was like, that's because
So
they're
you've
older.
done that before.
No, because I know older people.
Oh, got it.
Who doesn't know how to work these programs.
Yeah, right.
So you're
I got
just
you.
like, no, don't
Yeah.
hit that.
But I've sent, and this has happened to everybody, where you send a regular text and you pull up the last text that you're on and talking to instead of the one that you thought that just popped in,
If
and
you're
you
in a
send it to
group
the wrong
chat
people
or something.
Yeah,
I know.
you send the text to the wrong person.
We'll talk about this after the break.
Yeah.
Pelosi did that.
Yeah, of
She
course.
sent a text the night of Biden's. I'll tell you about it. It's in the book.
When we come back, why Donald Trump is so successful. It's because people can smell a phony.
Yeah.
Next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here's your sports update for Monday, April 7th. After a rainout on Sunday, the Braves are off today. Sunday's game against the Marlins has been rescheduled for August. Braves catcher Sean Murphy has returned from rehabbing his injury. The Braves are now 1-8. The Phillies come to town this week. The Hawks hosted the Jazz Sunday night and claimed victory 147-134. Trae Young scored 23 points with 15 assists. Onyeka Okongwu put up 27 points. The Hawks now travel to Orlando to play the Magic tomorrow night. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Hawks trail the Magic by 1 game for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. The Masters Golf Tournament practice rounds have been delayed due to weather. Last year's champion Scottie Scheffler is the odds-on favorite to win again. More details on the week's updated schedule are expected this afternoon. And the men's NCAA basketball championship game is set. Florida will take on Houston as the 2 number 1 seeds battle it out in San Antonio. Tip-off is tonight at 8:50. With your sports, I'm Jerry Payne.
Hey, it's front office lows for Cub Cadet and Howard Brothers. April in Georgia means the grass is growing fast, and it's mowing time with Cub Cadet. You already know this. From zero turns to lawn tractors, Cub Cadet mowers are built for power, precision, and comfort, so you can tackle your yard with ease. That's always the goal. Get it done quickly and get it done with ease. It's a top pick for homeowners when they want the perfect cut every single time. Let's not fall behind this season like you did last season. I know who you are. You know what happened last year. Let's get that straightened out. Get on over to Howard Brothers and check yourself out some Cub Cadet mower equipment. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Cub Cadet and Howard Brothers.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve. But one who genuinely cares about each player
You have what it takes. We got this.
can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Hey, this is Tom from The Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed. Honesty is the best policy, and we guarantee it. Finally, a pre-owned car and truck buying process that you can trust.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Janelle King in for Los today, who is out until Wednesday. And when we finished off that last segment, we were talking about a Signal chat that got through, and it was embarrassing to the Trump administration, but they owned it, and it went away quickly. Like 48-hour news cycle, gone.
Yeah.
And that's not the only time something like that has happened. You're bringing up.
No, Pelosi. Yeah,
Nancy Pelosi.
I know. I mean, so I guess I found out that on the night of the debacle debate, she sent a text message to, I guess it was like operative, but it was supposed to go to her husband. And the text message was, Biden's a disaster.
Yeah, this is not going well. And she wasn't wrong.
She was not. One thing I will say is Pelosi, even though I cannot stand her brand of politics, the woman knows how to play the game.
Yes, she does.
I mean,
we praise her for that.
Woo.
And praise is an odd word to use.
Wolf.
She is absolute. She will cut somebody down quick.
Yeah, and she was right, and Biden was right. I mean, Obama was right.
Yeah.
That Biden and Kamala were both losers.
Yes.
Like, they could not win.
There was no way they were winning. And but yes, Nancy was able to get her caucus to do whatever she needed them to do to be successful, and did that for 40 years.
Well, she had a burn book too.
Yeah.
So
right.
That's
you
what
cross her. Is that when you cross her?
Yeah, it's like, I heard that she had like a extensive burn book. And this is by someone who used to work near them.
And by that, you do mean like somebody's crossed her and she's like, they're done.
Yeah, so it's like they keep all of your sins. Like, she has like a list of sins of people from the past, and not, from what I heard, it wasn't just those people. It's like family members too. If they have family members.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the threat of like killing your family's legacy.
Yeah, she was brutal. She was brutal. I did not know about that.
Yeah.
But it does not surprise me whatsoever
not at all.
when it comes to Nancy Pelosi. Goodness gracious.
Mm-mm.
And that was, and we played this earlier. We'll play it again. We won't play the whole clip, Dre. We'll just play, and we'll stop it until after he gets into all of it. But basically, it is the reason Donald Trump is being so successful. Bill Maher, a Democrat, a guy that I don't agree with, and that he and the president don't get along well. I think he nails it here, however.
Trump really is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away.
That's it. Right there.
Yep.
It's so true.
Yep.
And I think that's why the Biden administration fell so hard and the Democrats fell so hard, is because they were complete phonies the entirety of that 4 years. There was nothing that was done with genuine care for the United States. It was actually, how do we damage the United States? I believe that. How do we damage this republic? How do we change this republic into what we want it to be, not what it traditionally has been? And they had this puppet. They were able to manipulate the vote, as we've talked about so many times, get him in office, because he was going to be the sacrificial lamb. That was the whole point. Biden can't win. There's nothing. Obama even said it. There's nothing he can touch that he doesn't mess up.
Right.
That's the kind way of putting it.
Right. He used another term.
Yes, he did. But when they finally got him in there, it was just, they knew he was. They knew he'd had dementia. They knew his faculties were diminished. They knew he wasn't capable. And it wouldn't have mattered. This is the thing that I think that doesn't get talked about enough. It wouldn't have mattered if he had been completely capable. Right. He was still going to be told what to do. The people that ran the administration in his absence were going to run it regardless if he was absent or not.
The bureaucrats.
That's right. That was
all
what
the
was going
bureaucrats,
to be done.
The ones that are fighting President Trump and this administration right now.
Same people.
They were unelected. They are the ones that's the problem. But you know what? I think that there's something that I think we overlook as voters, and that's hypocrisy. We've got to call hypocrisy out on both sides of the aisle. There is the one thing that I believe will cause people to lose faith in a person's authenticity is through hypocrisy. Of course. We cannot say, and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this in our party.
Oh my gosh.
I'm seeing it in
the
our
Republicans
grassroots.
are just as guilty.
Yes. I mean, it's like
100%.
Whenever it's our person, it's like, yes, go for it. You can do all these things.
Yeah.
But then if someone else does the exact same thing and it's on the other side, we criticize it.
I do believe we need to
That's
hold
a problem.
ourselves to a higher standard.
Yes.
That way, when we do point it out, whatever it is, whatever the problem is, that we have credibility. Because if you let it slide over here on your side, then how are you calling out the other side?
We have so many conversations with people on the other side of the aisle because we were doing minority engagement, right? And we still
This is
are.
when Kelvin was running.
Yes, even being after Kelvin's race, we started focusing in on messaging to diverse communities, and the way we were doing it is through holding like town halls. We were doing messaging on social media, stuff like that. But the conversations that we were having, the number one topic is typically around hypocrisy. When they come to us and they say things like, oh, you say that your party is a party of intelligence and understanding and putting the right people in place, but yet, this is what we were asked, they said, how do you explain Herschel Walker over Kelvin King?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many times when we're stuck in these positions trying to have conversations with particularly new people who will come and vote for Republicans, not just Trump. Yeah. Because right now we're seeing diverse voters who are voting for leaders that they like.
Yep.
They're voting for Trump,
That's
not
right,
the party.
not the party. And that's the thing that Republicans have gotten way wrong.
Yes,
they feel
very
like
wrong.
They feel like people are voting for the Republican Party, and they are not.
No, these people consider themselves to be independent.
That's right, and they're voting for Donald Trump specifically.
Yes.
And you can see it when he's not on the ballot.
Right.
Just like what happened in Wisconsin.
Yep.
When he wasn't on the ballot.
Midterms is going to be ugly if we don't figure this out.
If you don't figure it out very quick. And luckily they'll have Trump in office to be able to at least be a tipping point to voters. But when he's gone, in 4 years, when he's gone, do those people show up for a J.D. Vance, which I like J.D. Vance a lot. You're not so convinced?
I'm not a fan.
No?
I know.
How come?
I know.
No, which I'm just fascinated.
Authenticity.
Because he badmouthed Trump to begin with?
Well, yeah, it's that, and I think he has some issues with Elon. I feel like he wants presidency more than he wants to be a good vice president.
Maybe. Could be.
And I'm sorry, unpopular opinion, you know me. I'm a truth teller. I can't help it. It's what I think. He does not sit right with me.
That's interesting. I love that.
I don't know why, but it doesn't. And I have not been wrong.
Okay.
I'm telling you, in politics, my gut is good.
Well, that I trust. That I've seen. I trust. Everything you've ever told me has come true.
For some reason, he just keeps...
That's interesting. I love it because right now
I'm still looking at DeSantis.
I'm still look. I love DeSantis, so you wouldn't sway me there. I just don't know when you're the VP. It just seems like you're the heir apparent. That doesn't mean that's the way it has
Trump
to be.
Will not endorse him immediately.
You don't think so?
He didn't. They asked him.
Remember, you're talking about early on.
Yeah, he's waiting.
Yes,
and I'm with Trump.
Love it. That's a first on the show. But that's the beauty of what we do here, I believe, is tell the truth and give people our honest opinion about things. It doesn't always have to be popular.
Nope.
Which is
and I'm going to tell you the truth.
That's exactly right. This is the Morning Extra. Janelle King joining us this morning.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
First of all, a heartfelt thanks to all who wished me a happy birthday yesterday. I am now an octogenarian. No, that's not old because I don't feel old. But thank you so much. Now, I have something to do today, and that is to go shop at Walmart. Guess I'll buy some underwear. I don't know, but I'm going to go there and buy something. Why? Because today is supposed to be a boycott Walmart day. Something, of course, dreamed up by the left. You know, the people that go around keying Teslas as the way to fight their battles against individualism and common sense. Why are the libtards upset? Because Walmart has rolled back its DEI initiatives. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, Walmart is now hiring on the basis of merit. Oh, my God, what a tragedy. We have to protest. So I have two close by Walmarts to choose from. Maybe I'll hit both of them. Maybe you'll do the same. Now to these moronic hands-off demonstrations in many American cities yesterday, all of them with Democrat leadership, all of them failing. The hands-off protesters were all Democrat, many federal government workers, and union myrmidons. Look up the word. It's a great word. I'll have more to say about the hands-off goons in days to come, but let's point out that they were using the words fascist. Donald Trump is a fascist. Let me remind you that this whole thing about portraying conservatives as fascists started with the Communist Party USA memo in 1943. Call conservatives fascist. One thing these leftists are good at, taking orders. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 FM.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards. So you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
This is Atlanta's new home for Fox News. Extra 106.3 FM. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
The selling continues in stock markets around the world. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News are down across Europe and in Asia. 13% plunge in Hong Kong's market overnight, while on Wall Street, Dow futures are down more than 800 points after nearly 4,000-point loss the past 2 trading days on concern about President Trump's new tariffs on almost all imports. But Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
And we are not sensing any squishiness on the tariffs from White House officials. They can see the corner of the screen. They know that market futures are dropping all around the world, but this is going in the bucket of short-term pain that they told us they thought was going to come with something worth it for a bigger long-term benefit.
When they look at the fact that we have $1 billion trade deficit, when you look at the trade.
Well, the president on Air Force One last night, this morning, he posted on Truth Social there's $1 billion per country trade deficit, $1 trillion with China. And he said there's no inflation. Oil and food prices are down, and so are interest rates. Now, today, the president will host Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House.
The two are expected to talk about tariffs. Netanyahu will likely try to decrease the 17% tariff the president has imposed on Israel. Before the president made his announcement last week, Israel dropped its tariffs on U.S. goods. The president and Netanyahu are also expected to talk about the hostages, Gaza, and Iran.
And speaking of Gaza, there was another round of deadly Israeli airstrikes after Hamas launched a rocket barrage into Israel. Days of storms that hit the south, doing a lot of damage, and flooding areas from Arkansas to Tennessee to Indiana are also blamed for at least 19 deaths. And in West Texas, a second measles death. Another child not vaccinated. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. went there urging people to get the vaccine.
The death comes amid a surging outbreak. Over 600 cases have been reported nationwide since January. Nearly 500 of those were in Texas alone. Kennedy posting on social media that he is working to control that outbreak.
Ashley Strohmeyer, America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey, it's your old pal Neil Bortz. I'm back on Atlanta's only conservative news talk station, Extra 106.3. Okay, here's more of the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here. Morning, y'all. We appreciate you. At 404-741-1230. Los is out today. He'll be out tomorrow as well. But Janelle King's sitting in today. Ben Burnett will come in tomorrow. Janelle in today. We've had such a fun first half of the show. Second half of the show, I expect, will be just the same. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about all the things that matter in this country. And we would love to get your feedback, too. What are the things that we need to be talking about? How do you feel about Trump's tariffs? How do you feel about the stock market being down again? Because I'm fine with both. I'm absolutely fine with both. And I believe what Trump is going to do is going to make America stronger. I believe the economy was on a sugar high. Mm-hmm. I believe that all of this, the drop in the stock market now had to happen at some point.
Yeah.
He was able to choose when that happened and have plans in place for it with the tariffs. I feel like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm misled, maybe I'm misguided, maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's what I believe. I really do believe it.
Shameless plug. This is why you have to listen to the Janelle King show, because I am trying to educate people on how to understand what Trump is doing, because it's a little complicated.
Yeah, sure
but because especially if you're not a finance person, I am
none of us
by no
are.
means that.
None of us are.
So we're learning together. So if you follow my show, we're learning together, right? But when I start paying attention to his moves, I see what he's doing. And like to your point, whenever we've been eating a bunch of junk food, and that's what it feels like. And I heard someone say that, when all this stuff that's packed with preservatives is a product, it's not food. So it's almost like that with the economy, right? We were on this sugar high. We were eating this junk food. We felt like everything was just so great, but it really wasn't real, because when you're inflating the government with all this, with fake money and printed money, which is not real money, and then you're doing all these things, it gives you the illusion of success. You think the gas prices are coming down, but you're really just manipulating the market. And what Trump is doing is he's trying to fix the cracks in our foundation.
Right. Fix the foundation.
Because if we don't, it's going to collapse.
It was going to happen at some point.
Oh yeah. We're heading in that direction.
Right. If we hadn't have done the thing, if he hadn't done the things that he's doing right now, the economy at some point was going to catch up. It was just it cannot be propped up by government spending forever.
You cannot do it while also being the good guy.
Right. And that's the thing.
And he's okay with being the bad guy.
That's right. What's the old saying? It's better to be feared than loved if you can't be both.
Right. And it's just the truth. And the fact of the matter is he has to do some hard things. He has to make some hard decisions. Like I said, forget how you feel about Trump. Think about the mandate we put on him. It doesn't matter who he is or how he is. It's whether or not we are holding him to the mandate. And the mandate is for you to fix our economy.
And fix the border.
Which he did. He did. He addressed that immediately.
9 people have come across the border that have been gotaways or whatever the term is.
The catch and release people.
There's been 9 since he was elected. It's down from 10,000 a day.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't say catch and release, but they're like the ones that got away.
Right.
Got it.
So 9.
Wow.
From where we were at 10,000 a day. So we fixed that. Now the economy's the next thing, and I keep hearing people that I know and like and have a lot of respect for. There's like, well, my 401k is taking a beating. Your 401k was propped up.
Yep.
It was that number that you saw looks great.
It'll come back, but you'll have real money.
Yeah, but it'll actually be able to. Yes, right. and with what's happening, you're already seeing inflation drop off the table. We're trending in the right direction. I mean, inflation is taking a hit.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing even interest rates are starting to ease back off too.
Yeah.
Because of all of that fake money coming out of the market, it's setting the economy up to roar again.
Well, here's the thing. I have a message to people who don't like Trump, right? Because I'm not somebody who I don't really care for any individual. Like, I mean, I feel like I don't know you personally. I cannot advocate for you personally. So I'm not going to do that for Trump or anybody, right? And I think Trump will respect that. What I will say is, you look at the system. Look at how it's playing out. You have someone who cares an awful lot about his legacy. And his legacy is tied to whether or not the people approve of what he's doing. That is the position you want your elected official in.
Absolutely.
You want him to feel like he's tied or tethered to your needs.
Your needs and the needs of the country.
Yes. I don't care how he feels or what he thinks. You better be tethered to my needs.
And the polling shows that his approval is up another 4%.
Yeah.
We learned that this weekend.
Because people get it.
54%. And we talk about a lot on here the 80-20 issues. This is an 80 issue for sure, the economy, getting the economy fixed. And by and large, the majority of the American people support what he's doing.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we know it needed to be done. And I've said this 1,000 times to Los. I'd rather take the pain and punishment now than have my kids or grandkids have to deal with it.
Yes.
Now, they're going to have to be strong in other ways because this
you're
never
dealing
ends.
with it
That's
right now.
Yeah.
Because our grandparents didn't do it.
That's right. And then, when it comes to other issues they'll be dealing with, the China threat ain't going away.
No.
They're going to have to deal with that. And look, we are too. But there will be plenty for our kids and grandkids to do. I don't want to saddle them with an economy that is on the brink of collapse. And when Scott Bessent said it, I was like, that's exactly right. When he described the American economy as brittle, I thought it was such a great word. You couldn't have chosen a better word
that's pretty cool.
for describing the economy
and
the way that I felt about what was happening. I knew those, when you would watch the stock market and every day it's up 1,000 points. Every day it's up 1,000 points. And
you're like, wait, this is weird.
Something's
happening.
Happening. This can't be real.
While we're all in inflation at the same time.
Exactly.
It's like, who's investing and like what's happening right now?
Yeah, it was so brittle. It was so fake. It was so propped up. When some of our sales guys on Friday, I think it was Friday, the big drop, the first big drop, they were out there just in disbelief, jaw on the table. And they're like, what do you think about this? Because they're like, you're the Trump guy, you're the conservative station. And some are conservative, some not, whatever. They're like, what do you think? And I was like, good.
Yep.
And they could not believe what I just said.
I mean, we have to be able to weather this. We didn't get here overnight, so it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
So that's why people need to educate themselves on government finance and how it works. And what Trump is doing is he's recalibrating the system because it's been so manipulated. It's like these people got in there and said, oh, I'm just going to start changing this and changing that. And then you have lobbyists who are like, oh, I work for this big corporation, so I need you to change this over here so this will help them without any consideration of its residual effect. Whereas with Trump and not just Trump, it's the administration because he has a lot of key finance people in his administration. Okay, so these people are really, really smart, and what they're seeing, what they're doing is they're trying to strengthen our economy so that we can hold the success. We can't just keep having these temporary wins that makes you feel good for a moment. Okay, you get $1 knocked off of your gas. I'm not paying $5 a gallon now. I'm paying $4. I mean, come on. When are we going to say that's ridiculous? we need to get it back to $2 and something. It was like $2.50, and I know there's some people that are like, I remember when it was 50 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go that far back, okay, guys? So that's never going to happen. But $2, $2.50, we can live in that range if we do the right things. And so I want to wait it out. I want to give him to the summer. Doge is supposed to go away next July. So I just want to see what happens within. Just give him a year. Let's give him a year to see how he can do this.
How can you not?
I know.
How can you not give him
the fact that we're begging him for a year when we gave Biden 4 and they were possibly going to give him 4 more.
And did nothing. I want to play you, since we brought up Scott Bessent, U.S. Treasury Secretary, on why he thinks the tariffs are going to work. And it's very encouraging to me, and I hope it is to you.
The people who are hoping that yesterday's move will lead to a demonstrably brighter future within 4 years, is it your sincere prediction that within 4 years we'll say, actually, that kind of worked?
I believe that it's going to work, and I know that what we were doing wasn't working.
Yes.
So I think we have to try this, and I have a high confidence ratio it's going to work. And I have a very high confidence ratio. The good news is we have President Trump's previous term when everyone said none of this was going to work. Oh, the China tariffs are going to do this. They're going to cause inflation. They didn't. This is going to happen to working class. It's going to be bad for working class Americans. Well, guess what? Working class Americans, the hourly workers did better than supervisory workers. The bottom 50% of households, their net worth increased faster than the top 10% of households. And look, I'm not happy with what's going on in the market today, but the distribution of equities across households, the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills, they rent their homes, they have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief.
That's so unbelievable, those numbers.
Unbelievable.
That the top 10% owns 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% own 12. The bottom 50, credit card bills, rent their homes, auto loans, and nothing else.
Wow.
If that does not blow you away, that we have to do something. We cannot live on this artificially inflated stock market, this fake, brittle economy. If that does not spell it out for you, then I don't know how to get to you. I don't know how else to explain it. That's as simple as it possibly gets. And then on top of it, when he talked about President Trump's first term, when he talked about the people that were in regular roles as employees, their raises and their ability to earn grew faster than their bosses in Trump's first term. And here's the evidence of it. So we've seen it work, and we're in such bad shape, we're going to make it work again.
I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Which is not, anyway. Is it the government's responsibility to ensure you are not in debt?
No, by no means.
Okay.
But the one thing I would say that is the government's responsibility is to set the table so you can be successful.
Yes.
To
make
have
sure
a robust
there's opportunity for you to come out of that.
That's right. What you do with your opportunity. We were talking about this earlier with Trump. When you talked about Trump will give you the opportunity.
Right.
What you do with that opportunity is up to you.
So do you think that I'm always careful around playing Robin Hood, right?
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants that.
And I want to make sure we're not like pulling from the wealthy to give to the poor.
No,
because that's
nobody wants that.
That's how the Democrats, that's what they think we should do,
That's
right? It's
yeah.
like take your hard-earned money. Because in a lot of cases, there are a lot of people in that, and this is keeping it real, in that 50% versus that 10%. Like my husband always says, there's an ocean lies between what a man says and what a man does.
Amen to that.
And there are a lot of people in that 10% that are producing, that are doing, and a lot of people in the 50%
and earning every penny that they get.
Yes. So I'm really careful about,
understandably so,
looking like we're demonizing producers.
Don't want ever to do that. Never in a million years. But what I do want to see is in an economy where Americans have a chance to do well.
Yes.
If you want to work, there'll be a job for you to work. If you want to do well, you'll have the ability, you'll have the environment to say, I'm going to risk what I've saved and I'm going to start my business and it's going to be on me to make it work. But we don't even have the economy right now. It's not, to me, there's not even an environment where people are willing or feel like they can take that risk.
And I want this administration to explain, not just because what he said that's a heck of a stat. Okay, I mean it's really telling. However, I want him to go a little bit further. I want him to explain to me why that is, and how the government plays a role in causing that to be the case, because that's the real answer. And if your why is something like, let's say there's a policy in place that these individuals have learned how to take advantage of, that everyone could take advantage of, but but the 50% just hadn't learned it. I mean, that's not their fault,
no, of
right?
course, no.
So I just want to know, like, how is he going to explain this?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if he does.
Does he feel like taxes, like the rich are not being taxed enough?
No, I don't think that at all. That's not.
But what does he think?
No, he didn't say in that. But I don't believe that that's the way he thinks.
Okay,
that's my.
No, I don't either. But I want to know what it is.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I want to know, why does he think the data looks like that? And what role does government play in fixing it?
Well, my thing is government keeping their hands out of people's pocket, first of all.
Yes, I agree. Totally.
The government cutting regulation, getting out of the way. That's the second thing that I think needs to happen.
Okay.
And then the third thing is, you've got to get to an economy that is real. The sugar high is not going. Nobody can make it on the sugar high except for the people that are in a position to be able to, that have seen no bumps in the road during this stretch of 4 years. And for me, we've seen plenty of bumps in the road.
You know what? Creating opportunities for small business owners
that's what I'm talking
break in to into industry. I do think that's definitely something that they need to pay attention to.
But in a good, healthy, robust economy, that environment is there.
Lobbyists. Lobbyists, we need to get them out.
Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah, lobbyists got to call. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could ever do that.
Yeah.
Do you think you could ever get lobbyists out of it?
You know what? We, the people, should be lobbying the government, yes. But when you have people who are paid. I mean, it's like I don't know, man. Like this is really tricky.
Like the Chinese government have a lobbyist.
Right.
Like that, yeah.
Why are we listening to them?
Yeah, there's no room for that. Because those people are making millions.
I'm going to keep pushing on this. Because I want to know. I want to know, what exactly is the government supposed to do about that stat?
Yeah. My thing is, the thing I want to see is the economy be robust where people have opportunity.
Yeah.
That's my end all
Kelly
be all.
Loeffler, my good friend.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful we have her over to Small Business Administration.
Yeah, she's terrific.
The ideas that I believe she's going to implement, I think that's a key. We got to take that 50% and all of their business ideas and show them how to turn that into something that can bring them out of poverty or out of whatever state they're out of debt or whatever it is.
But look what the Trump economy did in his first term. Rising tides that lifted all ships.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're trying to get now.
Okay.
I don't care how much money you make. If you make more money than anybody else in the world, that's awesome. That's great. If you don't, and it's your choice, that's on you.
Yeah.
But the economic environment that you fought through and you've saved this money and now you feel like you're in an economic environment where you can invest, where you can start a business and can be successful. That's what I want to see.
I love what you just said. You're right. We got to raise the tide, not individual ships.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yep,
the individual ships on your own, that's you.
That's Democrats. They think we should look at individual ships and try to give this one ship a little bit more water over here.
Right. Absolutely.
No, that's not right. We got to raise the tide so everyone can rise.
Exactly right,
yep.
man.
Now that I can get behind.
That's all that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yes.
Having that environment. And I hope that's what they're shooting for. And I feel like it is.
Man, that was great.
It was a good discussion.
I know.
404-741-1230 if you would like to add to it. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When we come back, Trump's approval rate is opposite of what the mainstream media would tell you. Of course. Next on Extra.
Get Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Extra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Extra 106.3.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. Now that President Trump has unburdened us from what could have been, our country's finally headed in the right directions. But the Democrats are screaming and yelling and losing their minds. And unfortunately, the bad guys are still here and they want your stuff. Thank you, Joe Biden. And customers are still reporting break-ins and thefts of their hard-earned valuables. Don't wait till it's too late. Get a quality safe from the Safe House. We carry the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. And remember, gun safes are sales tax-free at Atlanta Safe House. So give us a call or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Springtime is here. Looking for a fun weekend with family, friends, and the kids? The Mitsubishi Electric Classic, presented by Venture, Georgia's only PGA Tour Champions event, returns to Metro Atlanta April 25th through the 27th. Pick your favorite hole to watch along the ropes or find public seating throughout the course. Enjoy scenic views, specialty cocktails, and fun for the whole family. Children 15 and under receive complimentary tickets with purchase by an adult. Join the excitement at TPC Sugarloaf in Duluth, Georgia from April 25th through the 27th. Tickets are available at MitsubishiElectricClassic.com/tickets.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggies, a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy, atlantasmiles.com.
The older I get, the more I think about trust. I think about the people in my life who have my trust and earned my trust, and the trust that I have placed in some people who I later learned abused that trust. I know we're alike in that way. We don't trust a lot of people anymore. It's like we're all Ronald Reagan, trust but always verify to make sure we're not making a mistake. I find it a little exhausting, quite honestly, and that's why I started realestateagentsitrust.com. I didn't have good experiences with buying and selling my homes. So we built Real Estate Agents I Trust to introduce you to one of the thousands of agents all over the country that we work with that we have verified that they will help you have the most successful and good real estate transaction possible. Our network agents share our sensibilities, have great track records, are good and decent people, and I trust them to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're moving across town or across the country, visit realestateagentsitrust.com. The name says it all, realestateagentsitrust.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, April 7th. Power has been restored for most Georgians after severe weather on Sunday. About 6,000 were left in the dark Sunday evening. Response teams are working to restore power. A flood watch remains in effect for most of North Georgia. The Georgia legislative session is over. Georgia senators exited abruptly Friday night, earlier than House members expected. Among the passed bills, an expansion of the child tax credit, a religious liberties bill, and a state income tax cut. Georgia representatives were upset that the senators left the session early. The Masters Golf Tournament at Augusta National has been delayed due to weather. Patron gates will not be open today. Further details about updated scheduling are expected this afternoon. Today's weather: rain continues throughout the metro area, clearing up this afternoon. Scattered showers throughout the evening give way to cooler temperatures this week. We'll have temperatures in the high 50s this evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
The 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is their website. I got those guys coming to our house to do our annual or our semi-annual maintenance agreement, making sure that the HVAC is ready for that hot Georgia sun. and it will be back sooner rather than later. I mean, it's already, what is 63 today? Man, we're going to trend in warmer and warmer directions.
It was cooler today. Last night was really nice, but last week, the end of last week, we got some record high temperatures in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hot one this summer.
It was really nice. Because I'm a fan. I'm always cold. So if I can get it as warm as I possibly can, then I'm all for that. Now, my wife would tell me different. Laura would say, no, let's cool this thing down. But I will say that her blood has thinned out a little bit since she's been living in the South for 20-plus years now. She doesn't like it as cold as she used to, but she's still, like, her and I fight over the temperature.
Yeah. I know. I was born in Connecticut, so, I mean, I can walk outside in the cold. But it's funny, but in the house, I wanted to be cozy and warm. So one thing I will say is Kelvin and I do not fight over temperature, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know.
That's unusual.
It's very unusual. We're very grateful for that. But he cannot stand the cold.
Me either.
Like, he's such a Southern boy.
Ooh, me too. Me too. When I see people walking in flip-flops in, like, March, I got a buddy from Chicago.
That's me.
You do it too?
I had on some flip-flops one day, and it was in March. And Kelvin was like, Janelle, it's not time. I said,
my buddy, but he wears them. I say March. He wears them year-round. He's from Chicago. He wears his flip-flops all year round.
Oh, no. No, I'm not like that.
Yeah. I
don't get that.
I can't wrap my head around that. My digits get so cold. My hands and feet get cold. We'll be driving. No, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. We'll be driving over to South Carolina to see Jacob play or whatever. And I'll know within the first 15 minutes of how this ride's going to go because I can feel my feet numbing. And I'm like, Lord, we got to get this off my feet. We got to get this air coming out off my feet, first of all. That's what. And
I know. I am like, oh, my God, I'll put it on 80.
I use my seat warmers all year round.
I do, too.
I never turn them off.
It's very bizarre. It's very, very bizarre because I do too. I will sit in my seat warmer all year round.
Yes, me too.
As a Southern boy, I prefer the summer. I do not like the cold in the winter. The only place I want it cold is in my house when I'm trying to sleep at night. That's why you should call
the folks at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. There you go. They set me up to serve it up and spike it down. No, Chuck and his team been serving Atlanta for 77 since 1947. Second generation locally owned family. That owns Central Heating and Air Conditioning. They do incredible work. They will do good work on your behalf as well. But yeah, I'm not.
Heating and air is one thing that you don't know you need until you don't have it.
Yeah, and then you learn quick.
And you're like, oh my God.
In the dead of summer, when the AC goes down, and
my
look,
goodness.
I can tolerate it more than most. And when I'm like, oh my Lord, Chuck, you got to help me.
What about
help
how
me get
fast it gets hot the moment it turns off?
Yeah.
I mean, you just start really appreciating these guys. Like, people and heating and air. First of all, that's also a good trade.
Yes, it is.
You need to go into that. That's a good trade.
And look, the trade schools are blowing up right now. Absolutely blowing up. People that are deciding not to go to college and go to a trade school and learn welding, learn HVAC, learn awesome. Mechanic skills, whatever it is that the trade school teaches. Those are and Mike Rowe. Do you know who Mike Rowe is? He did Dirty Jobs, that TV show.
Yeah.
Dude is a patriot. Loves this country like nobody else. He's got the Mike Rowe Works Foundation where they hand out scholarships for kids to go and do trade schools.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's been yelling this for 12, 15 years.
I commend him on showing people that, the sewer doesn't just stay, the way it is by itself. I mean, there are people that have to clean these things out, that have to go in there and do the stuff
and
that
be able
you
to
don't
repair
want
it.
to do.
And be able to repair it.
I mean, Dirty Jobs is an interesting show.
Yeah, it is. No doubt about it. But there is so much. I'll give you an example, and I've told this story before, but I don't know if I've told it to you. My uncle got divorced, got remarried, and they had a child, and so their son is a year older than my son. Mm-hmm. So it's a unique dynamic, that my uncle has a kid that's the same age as my kid.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But so his son, great kid, decided he was not going to college and went to lineman school.
Oh.
And has been working because there's been so many natural disasters.
Yeah.
This kid's got more money.
I bet.
Than anybody in our family. I bet. Problem is, he doesn't have time to use that money to buy him a house. He's still living in his mom and dad's basement because he's never home. He's always on the road
He's
working.
Just saving all his money.
Saving every penny. He could buy a house and wants to buy a house.
But he's just too busy working.
He's too busy working. He's never home, so it doesn't even make sense to buy a house right now.
That's so
This
fabulous.
kid has got more money than anybody I know. And bank account just growing and growing and growing because
Good
there's
for
so
him.
much work out there for linemen.
You know, my mother-in-law was one of the first female.
Really?
Like, she was like amongst like the first like female women to do the line work.
Work
Be a
on
lineman.
line.
Yeah,
How
she was a
about that?
lineman.
How about that's
She
awesome.
was.
Good for her.
She was
She was way ahead of the game.
One time, Calvin was on the trail and he said, like, you know, yeah, my mom was one of the first one to climb the pole, and I was like, no, don't say that. But when you talk about line work, we had to change that.
Yeah.
She was like, my mom was a
Power
pole
pole.
worker. I was like, no, not pole worker.
Not
No.
at all. No, you've got it wrong.
I
Honey,
love my mother-in-law. She may be listening right now.
Honey, you got it wrong. Let's not call Mama that.
Let's not call her that.
Good
But
Lord.
she technically that's what she was. She was a lineman.
That's awesome. That's so
Yes.
good. She was way ahead of it.
No, yeah, she has amazing stories.
And now, you know, we're back to where it is not frowned upon to get your hands dirty.
I know.
To do
Thank God.
manual labor. It is a
When
good
did
thing.
men stop getting their hands dirty?
I don't know, but in the past 40 years.
Look, guys, let me tell these young boys. If you want a wife, you want a lady, I'm telling you, we like guys who get their hands dirty.
Of course.
Because we're not willing to do it.
Have you seen those videos? Speaking of this is exactly right. Have you seen the videos? And it's always of very liberal women, and they're complaining that they can't find the right guy for them. And here's the caveat: they're always attracted to conservative men.
Of course they are.
But right. But they,
They
don't
want a real man.
They don't. But they can't.
They don't want their husband waving with both hands.
Yeah, that's right, like Tim Walz. But that's the problem, though, is
Yeah.
because the people that they align with politically and what they're actually attracted to are completely different things. And this one lady, and she was a beautiful woman, and she was just telling me, I'm so attractive. And I don't want him to hold the door for me, but when he does, I like it.
Girl, because she's fighting feminism.
That's exactly right.
I started a series on my show called Detoxing Feminism. I have about 7 episodes. I'm dropping a few more. And I am just loving this. And the women are loving it because we have to detox the foolishness of feminism. Feminism has told us that we are supposed to do all these things by ourselves. But when you look back into like our history, there was no time where a woman was able to do anything by herself. You have to have a male. You have to have some type of support. Now, it may not be your husband. There are women who won't get married, but there has to be some type of male
Brother,
influence,
uncle, dad,
something.
whomever.
But the point is, we're teaching women to be men. We're not teaching women to operate in their lanes. We're frustrated, and it's a lot. So yeah, detoxing feminism. Go to my YouTube page. You'll see it.
The Janelle King Show at 5 o'clock on Saturdays. And then, again, you can hear the replay at the Encore presentation at 9 a.m. on Sundays. Or anytime on the Extra 106.3 app, on her YouTube channel. You can go to thepodcastpark.com, any of the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, they're all there. And you can listen to that series because it's such a good one. And and what stood out to me is that you said you're teaching women to be men.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting the dynamic that's happening around the world right now where some people believe they're something else.
They do. And I think it's because I think there are a lot of women who are afraid to step into what it fully means to be a woman because it comes with great responsibility as well. I talk about how, there's this whole concept of you're not supposed to be in the home. You're not supposed to, take care of your families in the way that, you did traditionally. And I think it's because we're painting this picture of traditional women being women walking around in high heels, making everything from scratch and in these beautiful dresses while also managing the home. And that's just a lie.
Yeah.
These women were out there. They were the ones responsible for milking the cows.
Yeah.
They were the ones making butter, making cheese. They were doing stuff all day long. And if you look in the Bible, the Proverbs 31 woman, she was buying land. She was creating vineyards. She was helping the homeless. There's a lot that we can be doing as women, but we're too busy trying to figure out how to compete with our male counterparts.
Which makes no sense.
No one's operating our lane, and then our children are falling by the wayside. There's a lot to talk about.
Amen, there are.
Yeah.
404-741-1230 if you've got a point of view on that you'd like to share. Because it's so true. That's the thing that's so irritating. Like, this is why I feel like that my wife and I have been married for 24 years here in about 3 weeks.
Oh, yay.
And it's because we complement each other. Yes. I don't want to do the things that she does. I can't be good at the things that she is. Mm-hmm. Vice versa. She doesn't want to do the things that I do. And she doesn't want to be good at the things that I do. She has no interest in that. And we're so complementary.
Yes.
In everything that we do. Mm-hmm. And when it makes sense. I mean, like she would tell you, I will leave every decision with Jerry, because she doesn't call me Tug anymore. Everybody calls me Tug now, so she's back to Jerry. Because it was a nickname that she gave me a long time ago, and then everybody started calling me that, and so she's back to Jerry.
We took her name.
That's right.
Sorry.
That name. And so she's back to Jerry. She was like, I'm going to leave the decision with you. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
And it's a biblical principle that but
it works.
Everything, every decision that I make for our family is with her input at the top of my list. And then I'm going to discuss it with her, and this is why I'm making this decision. And even if it's one that she says, I don't agree with that, but if you feel strongly about it, let's do it.
I think the problem is that it naturally works like that when you operate like that. You know, we absolutely operate in our own roles in our home, and it leads to less stress. We don't argue at all, actually. I mean, we have disagreements, but Kelvin and I, we rarely have an argument.
Never argue.
And
Same
so,
here.
you know,
Occasionally.
right, because you just understand each other's lane, right? Like you know where you're supposed to be. But when you're operating in someone else, and when you're crisscrossing, right? It's
Didn't we learn that from Ghostbusters? Don't cross the streams. You can't cross the streams.
Problems.
That's right. Exactly right. No, but it's the truth. But people will hear that and be like, well, this is backwards and this is...
I know. I tell them, just try it.
Yeah, well...
Just try it. Try it once.
Absolutely.
I'm getting messages from women who are trying it, and they're seeing results.
I love it.
They're feeling less stress.
Biblical principles. Anytime you can incorporate biblical principles... it will be better. Everything will be better. When you're living right, when you're doing the right things, things are going to work out. Now, look, the good book said, because we talked about this earlier, how if you live a Christ-like life, you will be hated.
Oh, you will be hated. I know. Yeah, I was told that the Democrats hate me.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, well, praise God.
Well, I'm doing something right. I got to be doing something right.
I mean, that's not my intention, but... I get it, you know, because
nobody wants it.
No, but when you're putting, you know, truth often challenges, and if it's not, that's a problem.
I bet I think you could say always challenges instead of often, especially in this broken world we live in.
Yes,
people hate the truth.
I know it doesn't make you feel good.
People despise the truth because. Nobody wants to be the guy that rocks the boat or the gal that rocks the boat.
Everyone wants to be liked.
Everybody wants to be liked.
Problem.
I have fallen into that trap for the majority of my life. Worried about what people think, wanting to be liked. And as I get older, I care less about it.
I mean, think about people listening right now, right? I wonder, for those who are listening, how many times, even in this week, have you felt like you wanted to do something that you knew was right, but you just held back, or you didn't do it fully? Yes, you were afraid to do it because you knew that it would rock the boat, that it would cause some type of...
Even if it's right.
Yes. We do this all the time. It's hard. We always say courage is extremely difficult to do, especially when you actually have to have it.
Yeah, courage of your convictions. Having the courage of your convictions can be devastating.
Yeah.
Because people will not like you.
Do it afraid, though.
It's right. I would rather, what is it the old saying? Go speak when your voice trembles, but tell the truth. I'm messing that up.
Oh, my God, there's so many times
you know what I'm talking about? You know the thing I'm saying? Tell the truth even if your voice trembles. I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Something. I'll have to look it up. I have to look it up.
I mean, how many times have I stood up there and I'm like shaking I know I got to say something that's not going to be favorable. The election board? Yes. And I know I got to do what's right. And I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good inside. I mean, of course, you're shaking inside a little bit because you're like, man, I know this is getting ready to blow up. But I can't sit here and not tell the truth.
That's the thing I love about you the most. You and your husband.
Yep.
Because I know y'all are going to do the right thing always.
Got to do the right thing.
That is something that I never, ever, ever doubt about your family. And that's why I admire y'all so much.
I'd rather be on God's side.
Amen to that. Dre, you got that? Have you got it?
Yeah, you'll never guess who actually inspired this quote.
Is it something like Jerry Seinfeld or something?
No. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, God.
At least
What
you
did
got
she
something
say?
right. At least you got something right. What is that? Is tell the truth even if your voice trembles? Is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah. I'm looking for the exact quote. We'll have it in a minute.
We got to ask ourselves, why was your voice trembling?
Yeah, exactly. When we continue on Extra 106.3, a protester. We hear from a protester that they're out there saying Trump's awful. And this is the hands-off rally, and they happened in several blue cities across the country. Even up in Woodstock, Jeray said there was a couple hundred people. But I'm wondering if those people even know what they're protesting.
I've actually got a correction. It was not Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, thank you,
No,
Jason.
Sorry
thank
about
God. I
that.
was getting
Don't
ready
want
to
to
say-
lead our listeners the wrong way.
She
It was
said something
Maggie
about
Kuhn.
truth.
Who?
Maggie Kuhn,
Who's Maggie?
founder of the Gray Panthers. We'll research this over the break.
All right, then. So when we come back, do these protesters even know what they're protesting? I bet you can answer the question before we even get there, but we'll play it for you next in case you haven't figured it out. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Janelle King joining me this morning. My name is Tug.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here's your sports update for Monday, April 7th. After a rainout on Sunday, the Braves are off today. Sunday's game against the Marlins has been rescheduled for August. Braves catcher Sean Murphy has returned from rehabbing his injury. The Braves are now 1-8. The Phillies come to town this week. The Hawks hosted the Jazz Sunday night and claimed victory 147-134. Trae Young scored 23 points with 15 assists. Onyeka Okongwu put up 27 points. The Hawks now travel to Orlando to play the Magic tomorrow night. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Hawks trail the Magic by 1 game for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. And the men's NCAA basketball championship game is set. Florida will take on Houston as the 2 number 1 seeds battle it out in San Antonio. Tip-off is tonight at 8:50. With your sports, I'm Jerry Payne.
Hey, it's Tug for Central Heating and Air Conditioning. It is this time of year when you need to get those folks out to your house to make sure that your AC is ready for this hot Georgia heat. Now, it's raining today, so some of that pollen's going to get knocked down. But I watched a video this weekend of somebody cutting a tree down. And when the tree fell over, timber comes crashing down. It was a plume of pollen that looked like a blizzard. You know how you watch those videos of blizzards and you can't see through the blizzard because it's blowing so much, there's so much snow? That's what it looked like, a pollen blizzard. It was unbelievable. You don't want that in your house. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can make sure it does not get in your house this allergy season. They can fix what ails your house and probably your family's health too. Home ventilation and Carrier air quality products. They have packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, and dehumidifiers. They can help your family. They can help your allergies, like they help my allergies. I don't cough and sneeze in the house. Boy, I walk outside and I do. Call them today. You can get in the same boat with me and my wife. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee you each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed.
Get an Honest Car Buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Compact outside, the all-electric, all-wheel drive EQB 300 4MATIC SUV is big on space, style, and smart ideas. With available seating for 7, a digital voice assistant, and MB navigation with electric intelligence, the EQB is born from a forward-thinking family and built for yours. Get an exceptional offer on the all-electric 2024 EQB 300 4MATIC SUV. Just $389 per month for 36 months with $49.83 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's Spring Sales event. Visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through April 30th, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Attention Warriors, are you a veteran ready to navigate to success after service? Tune in to the Warrior Alliance Network. Join us as we spotlight inspiring stories, provide essential resources, and connect you with a community dedicated to empowering veterans. From career advice to health and wellness tips, the Warrior Alliance Network is your go-to hub for post-service success. Tune in Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Xtra 106.3. Join us on the mission, the Warrior Alliance Network, where warriors thrive together. Visit us at thewarrioralliance.org for more information.
Are you concerned about securing your family's future and assets? Look no further than Nelson Elder Care Law. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we offer absolute assurance and peace of mind through our comprehensive asset protection services. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com to explore how we can safeguard your legacy and provide tailored solutions for your family's well-being.
Don't miss the first MLB All-Star Week event at Truist Park as talent meets tradition in the 3rd annual HBCU Swingman Classic presented by T-Mobile and powered by the MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Join fans, athletes, and alumni to watch Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. shine a light on 50 of the best young ball players from HBCUs around the country on baseball's biggest stage, July 11th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets today at allstargame.com/swingman.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
I admire most of what Donald Trump is doing. I wish he'd slow down Elon Musk, not in what he's doing, but how he acts. I love what Elon Musk is doing, but, hey, guy, don't dance around with chainsaws. I'm not even allowed to own a chainsaw.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Dropping truth bombs all morning on the Morning Extra. I'm glad that you're here to do it with us. 404-741-1230 is the number. Did you find out who our...
Yes.
And so it wasn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg, thank goodness.
No, it was Maggie Kuhn, a woman she was born in 1905, passed in 95, but she founded the Gray Panthers.
Which
was an activist group for people who fighting ageism. She was forced to retire at 65, and she had a lot of life left and a lot of energy left.
That really gives a lot more information to that quote.
Yeah.
Especially if you're fighting ageism. I mean, maybe your voice may be trembling at some point. We've all spoken to someone who's elderly. So it could be fear, it could be age, it could be, that makes a lot more sense. I respect her a lot more.
Absolutely.
Speaking the truth, even if your voice shakes, I love that. And because when I did the first search, I saw the same thing you did.
Yeah.
Jerry, it brought up Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She must have said it at some point.
Ageism is something else that we're not talking about, right? And our young people, I don't like how our young people is treating our older people.
I can see that.
And it's actually going to fare well for young people because you're supposed to lean into some wisdom. Now, it doesn't mean every person who's older has wisdom, but there are people who come with, there are so many decisions that I know Kelvin and I are making. We consult I consult my hustlers, which is like my older lady group.
That's what you call them?
That's what I know. That's what we call each other. We all have names. It's like Sassy, Kooky,
I love it.
Bossy. And I got to name everybody if I forget. Then there's Happy, and then there's Feisty. I'm Baby.
I got to meet these ladies.
Dwarves.
I want to meet these ladies.
We need to bring them all up here. They're great. They're all political. And I'm the youngest. The next youngest, I think, is in her 70s.
Oh, my gosh. We have to have them on.
I know. Feisty just turned 83. It's awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is my tribe.
Look, you found a good one. Let me tell you, there is wisdom. I always say this about my mom, and I talk about her on the show a lot. She's not well educated. She dropped out of school when she was in 8th grade to work for the family. And she's not well educated, but she's the wisest woman I've ever met in my whole life. And it doesn't always, not the day of when she tells me something, that it comes back. Sometimes it is. Sometimes she'll say it and it'll make sense immediately. But then there's other times she'll say things and it'll be weeks or months or even years down the road, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Mama was right.
Mama was right the whole time.
You're like, what? You said something to me today that she said that is standing out to me.
So Mama always said, I remember just one time when Mama was we were going somewhere out, and somebody asked her for money. It's like just somebody on the street, and I said, well, how do you know that they even need money? How do you know that they need what they're saying that they need the money for? And she was like, I don't. She said, but if they can live with it, I can live without it. And I've lived with that my entire life. And she's been telling me that for as long as I can remember. That's one of my earliest memories of a mama, is her saying that. And if you were to ask my son Jacob about the same type of story, he would give you that same response because he's been taught that his whole life. If they can live with it, I can live without it.
And if you're talking to a young person, right, who is just starting to obtain things, right, you have this attachment where you're like, I got to hold on to it. I don't want to get rid of it. I got to hold on to it. And that type of mentality leaves you open to be a vessel to help other people. But instead of having that clenched fist, you have an open hand. Yeah. But that's a way of handling when people do you wrong.
Oh, it is.
They take from
Absolutely.
you. Like, that's
and they will. And people will.
And they will.
And they will. It will happen. If it ain't happened to you
and
yet.
We will.
And we will.
Say.
Absolutely.
Not they.
We. Because we're all broken sinners. Yeah. That's exactly right. 100%.
But that's good. Yeah, I definitely think we need to start encouraging young people. Like, please, y'all, if you're young, do not despise the older person. Every older person has lived your life probably 9 times.
And there's I'm glad you said that, because there's a guy we work with down the hall, Chuck Oliver. He used to be a school teacher before he was a broadcaster, and now has turned his passion for college football into a career, and left teaching or whatever. But he told me one time that there was a kid acting up in his class, and he was going through talking to him after class had ended, and they were going through some of the issue that come up in class, and the kid was like, "You just don't understand." He was like, "Man, I've been 16 and I've been 40." I do understand. And
like
let me tell you,
16 twice.
Right. But it opened that kid's eyes.
Yeah.
And then they had a good discussion. I'm not doing his story any justice, but I thought it was so brilliant. And I've actually broke that out on my son a couple times. Buddy, I've been 20.
Like, you
and
get
48.
It. Right.
I've been both. So I know where you're coming from. I understand the stumbling blocks. I understand the frustrations. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Now, do I know exactly how you feel right in this moment? Probably not. But I've been there.
I feel like I just turned 40 last year, and 40 is so interesting.
It is.
I love it. It's fabulous.
I love 40.
Oh my gosh.
I'm about out of it, but I only got about 18 months left with it.
Well, you should be good, because Kelvin turned 50 last year, so he said 50 is amazing.
Okay,
so
well,
you'll be good. You're good. You're
All
good.
Right. I can't wait.
But I love it, and I love it because you can start looking back and seeing where it's like, man, okay, I got a little bit here. I fought through that. I made it through this.
Yeah.
But then I feel like I just find myself leaning more into women who are at least 60.
Because they have that wisdom.
Yes,
they have
I
that life experience.
Them. Yes.
That can teach you lessons that you'll never learn in a book.
Yep. How to balance out internal struggles.
Yeah. And those are real.
They are real.
Goodness, those are probably those are the toughest struggles, right? When your heart doesn't know which way to go, and your head and your heart are fighting one another.
Yes. And sometimes you just need someone to tell you to just do it.
Yeah.
Like, you just do it. And I'm talking to women who are now in a stage of life where, their husbands may be feeling sick, or, and they're starting to think about, man, we're getting older. Like, at some point we may not be together. And I'm asking them, how do you deal with that?
Which that puts a lump in my throat just to think about.
I know, me too. That's why I'm like,
especially if they've been married like 50 years.
Yes.
Because it's so sad when it happens, but it so often happens. And it happened with my grandparents. They were married 50 plus years, whatever the number was. And they died 6 months apart.
Oh, yeah.
Because my grandmother went, my grandfather followed.
I mean, Kelvin and I only been married for 5 years, and I feel like that would be the case.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it is.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do without him.
But y'all live such a wonderful marriage, and I see it from a distance and occasionally get to see it up close. I understand why.
Yeah.
And it reminds me
I feel the same way about you and Laura.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of ours.
Yeah,
and,
I see it.
We're very blessed and fortunate to have each other. My wife is my better half. She's my true north. She's my best friend.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'd do without her.
It's a blessing.
Amen it is. When we continue, Bernie and his homes fighting out and speaking out against the oligarchy. Oh, my.
As an oligarch.
Yeah, that's exactly. I need to look up the definition, maybe.
Right.
Maybe one day he will. We'll talk about that next after Neil Bort's report, the Fox News Update.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
First of all, a heartfelt thanks to all who wished me a happy birthday yesterday. I am now an octogenarian. No, that's not old because I don't feel old. But thank you so much. Now, I have something to do today, and that is to go shop at Walmart. Guess I'll buy some underwear. I don't know, but I'm going to go there and buy something. Why? Because today is supposed to be a boycott Walmart day. Something, of course, dreamed up by the left. You know, the people that go around keying Teslas as the way to fight their battles against individualism and common sense. Why are the libtards upset? Because Walmart has rolled back its DEI initiatives. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, Walmart is now hiring on the basis of merit. Oh, my God, what a tragedy. We have to protest. So I have two close by Walmarts to choose from. Maybe I'll hit both of them. Maybe you'll do the same. Now to these moronic hands-off demonstrations in many American cities yesterday, all of them with Democrat leadership, all of them failing. The hands-off protesters were all Democrat, many federal government workers, and union myrmidons. Look up the word. It's a great word. I'll have more to say about the hands-off goons in days to come, but let's point out that they were using the words fascist. Donald Trump is a fascist. Let me remind you that this whole thing about portraying conservatives as fascists started with the Communist Party USA memo in 1943. Call conservatives fascist. One thing these leftists are good at, taking orders. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. ATL Turf Co. provided a pet-friendly turf, so it holds up to dogs. My dog likes to have friends over, so when they run around, chase balls, they can skid on it, they can slide on it. Nothing ever happens to it. The transformation of my backyard just looks amazing. We've referred ATL Turf Co. to all of our friends and family. Check them out online at atlturfco.com.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Are we headed for an economic nuclear winter? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. As stock markets keep falling, that's what influential hedge fund manager Bill Ackman has warned about President Trump's new U.S. tariffs leading to retaliation from other countries.
The president has made it clear that this policy, he believes, will help American workers.
That's the director of the White House National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, who also tells Fox.
So the idea that it's going to be a nuclear winter or something like that is completely irresponsible rhetoric.
And Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
This morning, President Trump has already called on the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. He is signaling that he is not going to back down off the tariff strategies, so he thinks the Fed should act accordingly and act quickly.
When you look at the trade deficit that we have with certain countries
is way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion.
And when it comes to the market sell-off here and overseas, the president also told reporters at Air Force One last night sometimes it takes medicine to fix things. Dow futures are now down about 900 points after the Dow plunged nearly 4,000 the past 2 trading days. President Trump will talk trade with Israel's prime minister at the White House today and the ongoing war in Gaza after another deadly round of airstrikes. Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, tells Fox,
with all due respect, there is suffering in Gaza, but the one to be blamed for that is only Hamas.
And Hamas launched a barrage of rockets into Israel over the weekend. Days of storms that did damage in much of the south have left at least 19 people dead and many areas flooded with dozens of rivers still rising. Fox Weather's Mike Seidel reports from Jacksonport, Arkansas.
The White River is going to crest later on today, but then stay above flood stage till Wednesday. The river has actually come up 25 feet since late last week, so it's way, way over its banks and still rising about another foot. Many farmlands are still underwater.
Another loss in court for President Trump this morning. The full U.S. Court of Appeals in D.C. blocked his removal of Democrats from 2 federal labor boards, calling it unlawful. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra. Bonus hour is what we call this 9 o'clock hour when things get off the rails. But when Janelle's in, things can get off the rails anyway. So we've been off the rails all morning. It's exactly right.
I rock boats.
That's right, which you're supposed to. And that's something that I feel like that I've learned in the last few years, to embrace the things that are hard, to embrace the struggles of life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's biblical.
Yep.
And it's something that I've resisted. Don't get me wrong. It's not anything I wanted to.
We all resisted.
Yeah, I didn't anything I wanted to do.
Who takes the path of the most resistance?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You don't want to, but you're supposed to.
But you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been really working on that.
Yeah.
And anytime my son has a tough day, trying to be a steadying hand, not playing into the emotion, the upset, things that he would talk about, had a tough day on the field or whatever it is, tough day with a coach, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Trying to say, hang in there, man. Mm-hmm. This is just a step. Mm-hmm. This is just one step. And I know it feels right now like it is consuming every day, every thought, it's not.
Yeah. I think sometimes there's a thought that life is supposed to feel a certain type of way.
Oh, yes. And good is the way we would like for it to feel.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel a lot of things, right? But you're supposed to manage it with stability and have emotional intelligence, obviously. But I think it's okay to... We have to, especially our young people. I keep going there because I'm seeing something and I don't think it's fair, right? I feel like our Gen Zers and alphas that are coming behind them, I don't think we're doing them justice by making them think that happiness is a real thing or
fair is real.
Yes.
Because fair is such a construct.
It's very, fair according to who, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't think we're doing the right thing, right? We're making it too comfortable.
Yep.
And it's not fair to them.
But I'll say something about this
There's that word again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll say something about this younger generation that I've noticed, and that is, in the last probably 5 years through where my son is now at 20, they drink less. they're more faithful and more into their faith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that, and it's not just with my son's friend group. I'm reading about it.
They want a real relationship with God.
Absolutely. They want real relationships on earth with people, but then definitely with our Creator, for sure. And they're pushing away the things that used to entice younger generations, and especially with the media having just an ironclad grip on culture, and they're rejecting a lot of the culture.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you saw so many of them reject, and to take it back to politics, because they voted, so many young people of all backgrounds voted for Donald Trump that weren't supposed to. And I'm seeing that in my son's personal life. I'm seeing it with the kids that he's around, the kids that he plays ball with, the kids that he goes to school with. Is it everyone? No. But it's enough for me to notice.
Yeah. I don't think we do a good job as conservatives and Republicans talking to young people about issues that we've all felt, right? I think sometimes we put on our evangelical cloak of like, I've been this all my life. Yeah. You know, like I've never made mistakes. I've never done these things.
I tell my son.
We need to talk about it
all the time.
And then you leave it to the left to tell them, and they do it wrong. They do it in a way where they say, challenge your parents, challenge the other person. Don't try to get to know them.
Yeah, just challenge them. Because they're old.
That's wrong too.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that my son realized that I wasn't perfect. You know, it could have been as simple as I said a swear word, I said a cuss word, you know, and he, Daddy, you know, or that time that I had one too many, you know, and he noticed, and I was so embarrassed the next day. But then I went to him and talked to him about it, and explained that it wasn't the right decision, and Daddy isn't perfect. I wanted him to know that I wasn't perfect, because it was better for him to know that I'm not perfect, because if I have this image of perfection that I can't obtain, I can't keep. I can't ever be that. There's only one that has, was, or is. And that wasn't me.
And what message are you sending?
That's exactly right.
When you only display the best sides of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to show all angles of it. And most importantly, you got to show them how to overcome when they do fall short. You know, I mean, there's this, I just think that we walk around sometimes like we are the party that's always right. And we've got to stop doing that. Yes, we've got to stop doing that. Because what makes us right is being authentic and being honest about who we are and about our mistakes.
Absolutely right.
And so I want to see us having more authentic conversations about what it really means to walk correctly. It means that you're going to have to fight through sometimes, and sometimes you're going to have to stand by yourself. I don't think these kids know how to stand by themselves on or foundationally, and then be able to defend themselves without having a group of people cheering them on. You need to be able to stand on your own.
Yeah, I think I do believe some of them are learning it. I do. I've seen it. I've seen it.
And I do believe that. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there is a big portion.
It's a group.
There is a big portion of young folks who can't.
No.
And
we're weakening them.
They do cower. Absolutely right.
Yes.
And look, I'm not saying that my son or his friend group gets it all right, because they do not. Just like I do not, just like nobody does. But I do see them trending to being able to say, you know what, I don't believe that. Yeah. And I'm okay with telling you I don't believe
it. I mean, I watched our son do it right. You know, he recently got married February 1st.
Yeah, congratulations.
I know, so I have a daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that's great.
And I love her. She's fabulous. And I love them together. I mean, they did it the correct way.
I love that.
And they put God first. I mean, it's pretty fascinating to watch. I told Kelvin, I was like, I think we finally we've gotten from underneath our mistakes.
That's all right.
I'm like, I feel like we're seeing the generation turn correct. Right. Yes, the fruits of it. And I'm watching them, but what I'm seeing is that there's so many people in their friend group that, not necessarily their friend group, but I would say like maybe their age
adjacent.
Group. Yes, adjacent. Friend adjacent. Their age group that is struggling. They struggle with how to manage through tough times because they're being told that happiness is something that you're supposed to sit in. And then they look at people and they think that there are people that are actually living in happiness 24/7.
Social media would tell you that lie.
It's such a lie.
So true.
It's not right.
There's places in town, and you probably know this. There's places in town where you can go rent space and they have it built out to look a particular way. If you want to say, hey, I'm riding on a private jet today, you can go to what is built in basically a soundstage or a room, and it'll appear as if you're sitting on a private jet. Or if you want to appear like you've just gotten some promotion at your job, I mean, any scenario that you can think of, you can find a fake studio to make it look true.
Yep.
It's
they're doing
unbelievable.
it.
And they're doing it. And so when you're talking about those kids that are like, wow, they're always happy. I want to be that happy.
Right.
It's not real.
It's just an illusion.
It's an illusion. And
the true happiness is found internally. And we got to teach people, not just kids, we got to teach everyone how to find their true peace and joy within. I feel like as I get older, I'm realizing what success really is. You know, I was telling Kelvin, I each month I get to drive to North Georgia and get our meat and our breads and stuff, and now I get to do it with my daughter-in-law. That's success to me. Like I love that. I love that I get to do things that are like going on our land. You know, just riding around. I mean, we had the whole family on the land the other day, and we saw like a turkey fly. When do you get to see a turkey? I mean, a turkey like actually
in Metro
fly?
Atlanta, not usually.
Yes,
Yeah,
right. I mean, he jumped up and flew into the tree, and we were just like, oh my God, that was a moment for us.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, finding gratitude in small things builds joy within.
Absolutely.
And then you won't need happiness.
It's 100% correct.
So, yeah.
And it is not something that is bought and paid for.
Right.
It doesn't come in cars and houses. It comes in time with people that you care about, people that you love, time on your knees in prayer, time at church, becoming,
building that connection.
That connection, yes. Yeah, building that relationship with the Lord and Savior. And this is not a religious show, but I can't help that's who I am and what I care about.
So what happens whenever we're together?
Yeah, no, well, we do talk about the Lord a lot. But I think, I say this all the time, and I pray this all the time, that I use this platform to glorify Him. That's it. I don't care if I talk about Donald Trump or Joe Biden or any politician ever again a day in my life. Now, is that what I'm tasked to do by holding this position? Yes. But is there more to talk about than that? And the answer is also yes. And I appreciate the fact that they give me the anonymity to do that.
Oh, no.
And I do. I pray every day before we do the show that I am at some point able to talk about Christ in some way or other. It may be a passing glance, but if you want, you listen to it for 4 hours, which I encourage you to do. But if you listen for it, you'll hear me talk about the Lord.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing MM on purpose. There is a reason I do it every day, because I want this platform to be more than just divisive politics. I think there's more out there to talk about.
Well, there's more that people are dealing with, right? And if you just step outside of your bubble just for 24 seconds, you'll realize that everybody is dealing with something, and it far exceeds all of this external stuff.
That's right.
It's a lot of internal things. It's a lot of a lack of belief in self, a lack of confidence. Like I said, we're lacking joy. We're lacking the things that no one can take away from you, because especially when I'm in politics, especially on the election board, and I find myself constantly in a position where I either have to be the person who's disagreeable. I mean, it's just kind of my nature to challenge thoughts and things of that nature. And I'm often asked, like, how do you do it? How do you take all the arrows? I get attacked every single day, every time I do anything.
And I know that's true because when I see it, it pisses me right off.
It have us every day.
I know it does.
And someone asked, like, well, how do you still love people? How do you still keep going? And I'm like, because the one thing they can't take from me is joy. I mean, okay, I may not feel happy because I don't like what I'm seeing, but I feel so much joy because I'm grateful for where I am.
And I think that's the thing that maybe people don't see, the difference in happiness and joy.
Oh, they don't understand it.
There's two completely
you won't need
different things.
happiness once you have joy.
That's right.
You don't care about happiness.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
What's that?
Yeah, because this world is not a place that's going to make you happy on a daily basis. It's not.
No.
So we're glad that you're here. I hope we put a smile on your face, and I hope you feel that when we're talking about faith and spirituality and what it means inside politics. Because look, there is a place. I mean, there was politics in Christ's time. Holy cow!
Oh yeah,
there was incredible politics.
Oh.
And
whole
Christ,
Bible's about politics.
That's exactly right. And nothing has changed. We're still all broken. And
our leaders are making difficult decisions every single day. Like, it matters where they stand spiritually. It matters because it's the thing that sits with you when everyone else is gone. It's the thing that you have to be able to reconcile with no matter what anyone else is doing. And so when you're talking about electing someone to go up there and wherever it is and represent not just that you and your constituent base, but they're also having to represent who they represent. So if you're professing Christ, or if you're a believer, then I need to see that. If I don't see that,
the fruit,
something's wrong.
Yeah, the fruit.
Something is really wrong. You don't lose your fruit because you got elected. I mean, come on.
But there's different levels, though, and I try to be very cognizant because I'm guilty. I've got so many faults. It's ridiculous. Do I love the Lord? Absolutely. Do I want to follow him in every way and show those fruits? Absolutely. But do I fail miserably most every day? Yes.
All the time.
So I try not to hold politicians to a standard that I can't hold myself to.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I do feel like that's the how would you say it? That's the drawback of talking about your faith, because all of a sudden now, because you've professed a faith, that you're expected to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because they don't understand your faith.
No, and of course that.
But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we show a lot of grace to our elected officials.
Oh my gosh! But that's what's amplified.
A lot of grace.
But that's what's amplified. I feel like is that look, they're a Christian, and look at what they're doing. Right. That's the whole point of needing to be a Christian is because of that.
And we haven't shown people what it really means either.
No, absolutely
I mean, it's not. I don't know. I feel like the more and more I'm in politics, the more I understand that that your faith is less about how you vote and more about how you live.
Absolutely right.
It's just like, what do I do every day? How do I treat people?
You know, like the other day when Thomas Massey would not sign on for the CR.
Oh,
I was so proud of him.
Me too.
I was so proud of that guy, and they were coming down on him.
Too.
Trump was coming down on him, and he held his ground. He had the courage of his convictions. And I love that. And Los and I talked about it. I was like, I will not badmouth him one bit, because he had the courage of his convictions. He felt that was the right thing, and he stood on his principle and held his ground in the face of everybody telling him he shouldn't.
There was a Democrat commentator, and her name was Brianna Joy Gray. She was on The Hill. She did their show, and she was someone who I respect her. I respect her a lot. I disagree with her. All the time. But whenever I hear someone, even because I don't know where your walk is, right? Like I'm hoping that you are being what you profess, right? However, like you said, we're all trying to figure this out, okay? So no one's perfect. But at the end of the day, what I look for is consistency. And even though I disagree with her vehemently on a lot of different topics, I will say that she's consistent. She stood on her what she believed. She stood on her foundational principles. And there's other Democrats that I see too who I feel like at least they're consistent.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right. But at least I believe that you believe what you're saying.
Right.
I'm tired of running into people and I'm talking to you and I don't even believe that you believe what you're saying.
Flapping in the wind.
Right.
What they lick their finger, put their finger in there. Which way's the wind blowing, and that's the way I'm going.
You look me in my face and tell me something and do the opposite.
The exact opposite.
And then you see me again and you make it seem like you didn't tell me what you just told me.
Yeah, right.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And I can only imagine
crazy.
working on the state election board.
Oh my God, the amount of people who lie to you. To your face.
To your face.
oh, to your face, and then come back, and you're like, well, what happened? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you get.
That's all you get. I love it.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. 404-741-1230 if you got something to get off your chest too. Talking about the things that drive you up the wall with consistency and all that. When we come back, we'll talk about a little bit of Bernie and then his oligarchy tour, but also accused Austin Metcalf killer. His name is Carmelo Anthony. His lawyer wants a $1 million bond lowered. This is such a sad story. This is an unbelievably sad story. And we'll get into it next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Are you tired of dealing with loud, ugly, drafty garage doors? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Now is a great time to upgrade with brand new, efficient, quiet, and beautiful garage doors. Your garage door is the biggest opening in your home, which is why it's such an important part of your home's curb appeal and energy efficiency. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078. Get started today by visiting us at allfourseasonsgarages.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Monday, April 7th. Power has been restored for most Georgians after severe weather on Sunday. About 6,000 were left in the dark Sunday evening. Response teams are working to restore power. A flood watch remains in effect for most of North Georgia. The Georgia legislative session is over. Georgia senators exited abruptly Friday night, earlier than House members expected. Among the passed bills, an expansion of the child tax credit, a religious liberties bill, and a state income tax cut. Georgia representatives were upset that the senators left the session early. Today's weather: rain continues throughout the metro area, clearing up this afternoon. Scattered showers throughout the evening give way to cooler temperatures this week. We'll have temperatures in the high 50s this evening. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10. Los is out until Wednesday. Janelle King joining me this morning. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. They've had over 200,000 projects that they've done across Metro Atlanta, across 6 states, as a matter of fact, based in Jackson, Georgia, but doing work here in town. So if you need doors, siding, gutters, roof, millwork, they do it all. Southern Exteriors right now, 10% off any job, no matter how big, or they'll give you 12 months, 0% financing. SouthernExteriors.co is their website, SouthernExteriors.co. That's how you get a hold of them. This is kind of funny to me because Bernie Sanders presented himself as this not saintly, but clean, not bought and paid for. That was his message. Mm-hmm. It was always that. And then you learn that he took more pharma money than many of people in D.C. And you're like, well, wait a minute. And look, that's what Joe Rogan found out. When Joe's podcast talked about it, he was like, I was a Bernie bro. I voted for Bernie last time around. And then I found out that he took more money than anybody else, or just as much as anybody else. And then he was asked about all of his homes. Now, this is a man that says he's a socialist, and that wealth is bad, and let's spread everything around, and everybody gets the same amount.
Everyone should have 4 homes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he was asked about it. Listen to what he said.
There are 500,000 people in the United States who are homeless. And you got billionaires who have more money than they can spend in 1,000 lifetimes. How many homes do you need?
Do I own 3 residences? Yeah, I do. Guess what? I'm a United States Senator. I have a summer camp. It's a nice one on Lake Champlain.
Yeah. So
what does he being a senator have to do with him owning homes?
That's exactly right. But yeah, that was his justification. But that you hear him railing all the time against wealth. Mm-hmm. It's anything the president's doing is to benefit his millionaires and billionaire friends and this, that, and the other thing. And he is doing the same thing.
Oh, he's a millionaire.
Is a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire. I don't know. He's got lots of money and enough to have 3 homes. Yet he will talk about why is it that people need 3 homes. I don't know. Senator, answer your own question. Well, that's the thing. It's the hypocrisy is undeniable and unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I mean, first of all,
and people are still going to vote for that fool.
Oh, I know it. When we were in D.C., our Uber driver, he was Ethiopian, and we were all talking. Now, mind you, we were talking about Trump and the administration, and he goes, "I love Bernie Sanders." Now, first of all, I've never heard anyone say that in the last 6 years, right? I mean, it's like I love Bernie Sanders, right? However, that kind of threw me for a little bit, right? But if you look it up, I mean, he's worth, $3 million?
On paper.
On paper, right, which means it's probably like 12 or 13 in real life. And 3 properties, but yet he's running around talking about what billionaires need to do. He's like, it's like, okay, I know I'm a millionaire, but I'm gonna make the problem billionaires for all of you who are not millionaires, and I'm not gonna not be a millionaire in order to help you become a millionaire. So right. I'm just gonna still be successful.
I've noticed how they've shifted the language too. It used to be millionaires.
Now it's billionaires.
Now it's billionaires. Mm-hmm. And occasionally they'll slip up and say millionaires and billionaires. Mm-hmm. So they're just grouping
But now it's just billionaires.
Mainly billionaires is what they talk about because that's what Elon Musk is and that's what Trump is.
The 2 comma club.
Yeah, the 2 comma club is exactly right. But that's the thing that drives me nuts about people like him is that you're no different. Don't tell me how Trump's doing it wrong or Elon's doing it wrong when you're doing the exact same things.
Yep.
You knew Joe Biden had 12 shell companies. You knew that the laptop was real. You knew everything. You knew all of it. You knew Joe Biden was not capable. He had dementia, and you hid it. You did not tell the truth. So don't tell me about how holy you are.
I know.
About how good you are.
I know.
And how bad the other side is when you're doing the exact same thing. It's hard to listen to.
The Clintons, the Bidens are exactly what he's claiming he's railing against. I mean, these are your friends. Go after them first. Why are you coming after these random people?
Yeah.
Go after the people you talk to every single day who's doing the very thing that you claim everyone else should not be doing.
And that's what he did on the oligarchy tour, right? He and AOC out there speaking out about the oligarchy, with that weird Northeastern accent he's got. Yeah. But most people probably don't even know what that is. And it's fine. You don't even need to. You just know.
Just don't even go.
Yeah. But that was the platform, right? That's what he's saying.
Right.
And when he's going around and speaking. And I don't know how many of those people are genuinely interested in what he has to say or just showing up for other
He's trying
reasons.
to flip it back. So if you think about it, right, go back to Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street time, right? And I actually was listening to someone break down DEI and why this is so harmful and what it really is. And one of the things he was saying is at that time, it was like the poor was rising up, or let's just use the townspeople, right? I love the medieval times. So
there you go.
So it's like the townspeople was coming against the king. And it was like, okay, the poor against the rich. But then that was a problem. The rich said, wait, no. So what did they do? They interjected racism again. So now you have poor people fighting poor people.
And if they're fighting each other, they ain't fighting
They're
you.
not fighting us.
They're not fighting you.
And so now that the race thing is back rectified because you have Trump that's killing this whole DEI, we're going to stop fighting our neighbors. We're going to stop not going to dinner with our family members because you think everybody's a Nazi and all this other stuff. We're going to stop all of that, right? And we're going to get the focus back on the real problem, which is the mismanagement of funds. So now the Democrats are like, oh, now we got to go back. We're going to stop talking about race. Now we got to go back to classism.
Yeah.
So let's make people mad.
Yeah.
Now we got to fight against the billionaires again.
It's a quick switch of language.
It's all about controlling the townspeople.
That's right.
So that the kingdom can keep operating as it has been.
The United States isn't supposed to exist.
No.
It's never worked where the people had the power.
Yeah.
And look, they're doing their best to get rid of it, and have been since the founding of the country. It's never in history been where it wasn't a monarch or a dictatorship. This is that when they call it the American experiment, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's never happened before, and if we lose it, it might not ever happen again.
Yeah, we got to stop. I told Kelvin, and this is, good Lord, I'm getting ready to give a football analogy.
Here we go.
But
buckle up, everyone.
I know. Here we go. But I was just like, we got to stop rewarding people for just running the ball towards the end zone, but not getting it in the end zone.
Right.
I'm tired.
Because they'll do that all day.
Oh, all day.
Look how good
we're getting ready
I am.
to see it in 2026. We're getting ready to see a bunch of people say, "This is what I tried to do.
Yeah.
This is why you should elect me because I tried to do it."
Yeah. I tried to stop Trump.
Oh, I tried.
Yeah,
I tried to pass that bill.
Yeah, that's right.
But I couldn't actually pass it.
State of Georgia's.
I'm telling you, you're getting ready to hear it.
Yeah.
You're getting ready to hear it all through 2026. This is what I tried to do.
Yeah, because you've done nothing.
Absolutely
I love your
nothing.
analogy. I ran the ball down to the 1 yard line.
Right.
I mean, what more do you want?
Right.
Well, I would like for you to get it in the end zone.
What
I would
more
like
do
for
you want?
I want the 7 points. That's the whole point of running it down there.
Now, if you were setting it up for the next play,
Yeah.
If I saw that happening, maybe I'll give you some grace.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing that happen.
Yeah, no, because it never gets into the
You're
end zone.
literally stopping before you go into the end zone.
And it's so off-putting when you hear these politicians, especially the folks now, that their only answer is whatever Trump says, I'm going the opposite direction.
Oh my God. Right.
Which is the 80-20 conundrum that they find themselves in. Trump is on the 80% of every issue.
Yeah.
And the Democrats find themselves on the 20% of every issue, like men and women's sports, which makes no sense. And the majority of the overwhelming majority of Americans believe that women should have a place to play sports.
Yeah.
They should have those safe spaces to participate. That's what Title IX was all about, and we're shredding it. I don't know if you saw this. and this is not in the United States, but it will be at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a billiards championship that's being played in the UK
Mm-hmm.
in the women's category, and it's 2 men. 2 men are playing for the women's championship
Really?
in billiards in the UK. It sounds like an episode of South Park.
What?
It don't even sound real.
I know. I love South Park.
Yeah, but because they were able to predict all this
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
South Park and the Boondocks
Yeah.
are two like my favorites.
No kidding.
They were spilling the tea. But no, that's fascinating.
And it's happening over and over again. Did you see the girl, the fencing girl that was this was in the United States. She was a fencer,
Mm-hmm.
and she was going to have to compete against a man who identifies as a woman. I mean, he's like so much taller, so
Oh,
much
my
bigger. The whole
goodness.
point is that
How do you beat a man
Exactly.
in anything as a woman?
It's
You don't
ex-
see any of these like what do they call, like the transgender women who are become men.
Yeah.
You don't see any of them dominating male sports.
Of course not. They're not showing up in the NBA. They're not showing up in the NFL.
There's not one. If I was a WNBA player, I would say I demand to be in the NBA right now.
Yeah, right.
Forget the WNBA.
Yeah.
Put me in the NBA because if you're gonna come in my space,
Yeah.
why are you not allowing me in yours?
Well, because they can't compete at that level.
Exactly.
They physically can't do it. So
Yeah.
the guy that can't make the JV track team with the boys goes out and dominates the girls and wins by, a minute and a half or 2 minutes or whatever, whatever the numbers are.
Man.
And yet it's happening over and
Snatching
over and over.
opportunities from women left and right. Well, you know what? There's a lot of women that's considering. I think we saw that Keisha Bottoms is looking at running
Sure.
for governor.
Yeah.
I'm
Stacey
interested
Abrams.
to see what they have to say about this. Right? I mean,
they're
Keisha,
smart.
are you gonna condone men and women's sports?
If they're smart, they'll be like Gavin Newsom, who has supported it all the way up until this point, and now all of a sudden is like, well, no, that's a terrible idea. No?
I'm still trying to figure out if he's a trans. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
because Gavin gives a lot. Okay,
He gives you the vibes.
he gives me a lot. Okay, he's very pretty,
Yeah.
but
I don't. He's positioning himself to try to run, but that, as Los and I have talked, and I'd love your opinion on this. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to garner the nomination for the Democrats because he's trying to center himself, and the Democrat Party, as we know it or knew it, is gone. It's over with. If you're not on the hard left, you're not going to get a nomination. They're not going to nominate Gavin Newsom.
I don't think so, but we can't underestimate the power of his spin.
No, of course.
The man is a master.
Yeah, no, he is.
At
Absolutely
spinning.
right.
I mean, when we were watching that debate between him and DeSantis, I felt like I was going around in circles.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just spinning me in
But
circles.
look how bad he looked, though.
He did.
Because
But
of
who
that
do they
spin.
have other
Yeah.
than Josh Shapiro? I think they're trying to push Josh Shapiro.
You think so?
I do.
I see. What if they would have been smart to take him instead of double hand waving Tim
I know.
Walz?
I mean, well, because he's Jewish.
That's the reason they didn't.
Obvious, which is crazy. I'm like, y'all, why are we listening? Why are they listening to the smallest group of? Oh my God,
But they are.
Those French.
But that's the thing. That's what that party has become.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know that Gavin Newsom can get the nomination because he's not going to check enough boxes. He's not radical
I know.
enough.
I feel like Gavin is there. We'll go with him if there's no one else better. And the fact of the matter is, I can see it. I mean, he is the largest. I mean, he's a huge delegation. I mean, he's California, right? So I can see him getting the nomination, but I think it'll be another bad move that the Democrats have made. If the Democrats had supported Dean Phillips, I don't think President Trump would be president.
You talking about? Oh yeah.
When Dean
Man,
Phillips was running in the
yeah.
primary against
Yeah.
Biden,
Yeah.
I was concerned about that. I was watching that one. I was watching it because Dean Phillips he was the founder of Talenti ice cream and Bacardi, I think alcohol or something, and he can self-fund. He's a businessman. He's moderate. I personally do not agree with his politics, but from a pure political
Like as an
perspective,
advisor, as a political
Yes.
advisor, you'd be like, that's the guy to go
that
with.
was the guy that we needed to watch out for. He would have been the dark horse, and they always miss just like we do the same thing. I mean, we tend to bypass the better option for the okay, but I don't know. I guess they couldn't control him. Maybe.
Probably. And the thing with Gavin Newsom, though, is that he said all of these things over and over and over again, all these radical ideas that he has about California, and California is in bad shape because of his policies and the way he's ran that state. And now he's trying to just brush it aside. He's trying to smooth it over.
He's trying to pretend he's not who he is.
Yes, that's exactly right. He's trying to
But
pretend.
who is he? He's whoever you need him to be.
He's a radical
the
leftist.
perfect puppet.
He's a radical
Yep.
leftist.
Yep, sensing with whatever the wind blows, right?
Jere said. Whichever way the wind blows. I left this last segment open so you can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about when we wrap up the show.
Let's talk about it.
We're going to do the kitchen table topics. It's a segment of the
we got
Janelle
a
King
kitchen
show.
table topic to talk about.
Next on the Morning Xtra as we wrap up the show, Glenn Beck is on the air when we're done, 10 to noon, and then noon to 3. Clay and Buck, biggest show in all of conservative media. And the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, they are back. Kimmer is back from vacation and on the air at 3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here's your sports update for Monday, April 7th. After a rainout on Sunday, the Braves are off today. Sunday's game against the Marlins has been rescheduled for August. Braves catcher Sean Murphy has returned from rehabbing his injury. The Braves are now 1-8. The Phillies come to town this week. The Hawks hosted the Jazz Sunday night and claimed victory 147-134. Trae Young scored 23 points with 15 assists. Onyeka Okongwu put up 27 points. The Hawks now travel to Orlando to play the Magic tomorrow night. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Hawks trail the Magic by 1 game for 8th place in the Eastern Conference. And the men's NCAA basketball championship game is set. Florida will take on Houston as the 2 number 1 seeds battle it out in San Antonio. Tip-off is tonight at 8:50. With your sports, I'm Jerry Payne.
Hey, it's Tug. I want you to know now is the time. If you want your house to be the envy of the neighborhood, to get those upgrades done as we mosey into spring and we have more light in the evening as the days are a little longer on daylight saving. And then you have people walking in the neighborhood later in the evening and you're like, man, I want, when the people walk by my house, be like, wow, this is a good looking house. You want to feel about your house the way you did the day you bought it. And you can do that with Southern Exteriors. They can give you new doors, windows, energy-efficient windows, gutters, siding, a new roof. But don't wait on the repairs, especially the roof. If there's a leak there, you got to get that fixed. This is something that must be done. You have to do it. Get the roof repaired, or it will ruin. Leaking water into your house will ruin your largest investment, probably what you'll retire on. Is the value of your home. That's what most people's biggest investment is. So right now, if you want to do any of those things to make your home look amazing for the spring or get that roof fixed, call them today at Southern Exteriors, 8779-SOUTHERN. SouthernExteriors.co is their website. They will give you 10% off any job, no matter how big the job is, or 0% financing for 12 months. Again, Southern Exteriors, 8779-SOUTHERN. SouthernExteriors.co.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disposed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Have you considered securing your family's future, protecting your hard-earned assets, navigating complex legal matters with ease? Nelson Elder Care Law is here to guide and empower you and your loved ones. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our trademark Absolute Protection Trust and expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid crisis solutions, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, Nelson Elder Care Law protects what matters most to you. Imagine a team dedicated to safeguarding your legacy every step of the way. Our flat fees ensure transparency, and our customized plans prioritize your family's specific needs. Are you worried about protecting your family and your legacy after you're gone? Let us help you ensure you are absolutely protected from whatever curveballs life may throw your way. Schedule a complimentary legacy planning meeting with our legal team in Marietta or Woodstock today. Contact us at 678-250-9355 or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Looking to attend multiple Braves games for the 2025 season? Save up to 10% with the Braves Flex Plan and pick the games that fit your schedule. The Flex Plan includes some great matchup options, including popular opponents like the Phillies, Dodgers, Yankees, and more. Plus, you have the option to pick your perfect view to enjoy your games from.
Goodbye. Struck him out with a slider. It is a 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Chris Sale.
Visit Braves.com/Flex Plan to learn more and get your plan started. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Finally, a president that will fight for American values.
The American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
And finally, an Atlanta news station that covers it the right way. Extra 106.3 isn't about traffic and weather. We care about the stories that matter most to you, your family, and your community. Get traffic and weather on your phone and get Atlanta's only conservative conversation right here on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Janelle's about to blow you away with what she's going to share with you, and it has to do with the Austin Metcalf killing out in Texas. The killer, Carmelo, or the accused killer, Carmelo Anthony, his lawyer wants them to boost or to drop the $1 million bond. But I love what you said during the break when we were discussing this. You don't want to litigate the trial.
No.
There's a different angle that no one's talking about, and I've not heard them talk about it until Janelle brought it up just moments ago. Mm-hmm. And it is the reason the killing may have happened to begin with.
Yeah. So, I don't want to be in the judge seat by any means. The judge has a very difficult decision to make because this is very tricky. But that being said, what I'm noticing is this trend towards, justifiable murder. It's like, it goes back to the Luigi thing where we have people.
Mangione.
The Luigi Mangione, where he feels as though people feel like him murdering the United Healthcare CEO was justified because they don't like
letters.
That. Yes.
Send him letters about how great he is. Yes. People on social media talking about how he did the right thing and man, he is wonderful and he's become this folk hero.
He has. They're donating to him. I think he has $800,000 that he's raised for his defense and that is a bad precedent. And I hate to say it, but I feel like this almost feels the same way. It's like we're ignoring the fact that a young man who may or may not have been bullied, we're still, it's all coming out. But either way, let's say he was, the fact that he did bring a weapon to the game. I mean, he did have the weapon on him. For whatever reason, it was there and it was used and a life was lost. And so to create all these what ifs and hypotheticals. Like I heard someone say that he was justified to bring the knife because he's black and it was predominantly white people there. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's to say that every black student that's in a predominantly white school can now bring a weapon to school?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? This is not right. And the reason why it's frustrating to me is because we are not preparing them for the future. Because now we have a young man who's probably going to go to prison. I do not see how he's going to be able to argue that murdering him was the only option I had with a weapon that I wasn't supposed to have, and although it wasn't premeditated. Like, I mean, it's just I don't know. I can't litigate it right here. No, but I'm just telling you, it looks really difficult for him to be able to argue that. But and the fact that he said to the police officers when they were taking him away, can I make is this self-defense? Like he was asking them. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel as though we are we're setting a bad precedent when we allow people to justify murder.
I'm wondering if people are going to treat him the same way that they're treating Luigi. Like there's a folk hero status.
I do. I think it's happening predominantly on the black side. I mean, I think and that's what I don't like either, is that we have a lot of adult black people who are perpetuating these narratives, who's calling these kids white supremacists. I saw a picture of the two boys. They were holding their guns because it looks like they were getting ready to go hunting.
Yeah,
it was
I think I saw that picture. Yeah.
Right.
I
It just
saw that
looked
picture
to me
too.
they had the whole hunting gear. If you've never been hunting before, that picture looks totally different.
Yeah.
But if
Right,
you've
so
been hunting,
perspective.
right, you know that this is just two twin boys that's probably out with their dad going hunting. No harm here. But then we have people circulating that picture. And then on the flip side, you have people telling this young black boy that he didn't do anything wrong, that he's justified. You're teaching him not to take accountability, which is only going to put him in a position where if he was to get off, he may end up doing it again. Or even worse, something happens to him. So either way, it's not helpful to any of the kids. We've got to tell the truth. We got to not make everything racial, and we got to look at the facts. And the fact of the matter is, I'm praying for both of these families.
Because
these families
both of them
both
are
hurting.
Both in disarray and will never be the same ever
Yes,
again.
never.
Neither family.
Nope, not at all. So I just want to get that out, that we've got to stop trying to justify bad behavior on either side.
It's crazy how people, the Luigi Mangione thing is even more fascinating than the story out of Texas.
It is.
Only because of how he's been elevated, and you hear people, and I've not seen it in the Texas case yet. Maybe I will.
Mm-hmm.
But I see women on there talking about how he's the sexiest, hottest,
Oh my God, it's so sickening.
greatest. He was so brave to go and shoot the CEO of United Healthcare in the back. That he is some kind of, again, I say hero. He's some kind of hero for doing that. And I've seen those so many times. Have we not played
he's pleading
a few of
not
those?
guilty, by the way.
Yeah, that's why he's yeah, exactly. Haven't we played some of those, Dre?
We have, and then it speaks to that culture because there's also we'll do the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. We'll love you. We'll call you a hero for that. They're talking about getting after Trump.
Yes.
Doing something violent.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. And it
See what I'm
plays
saying?
right into
Yep.
what you're talking
They
about.
want martyrs.
You're building these vigilante mentality, like young people who think that this is okay. And it started during COVID when we saw those autonomous zones and a young man was murdered behind the wall of an autonomous zone, and no one solved that case.
Yeah.
His father still doesn't know what happened to his child, and no one's talking about it. This was a cold blood murder on the streets.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, we're just going to keep going.
But it seems that we learn nothing because we continue down this path. And with the whole autonomous zones, was that the one that was in Seattle
Yes,
or Portland?
the one in Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
Yep, that was where the young man was killed.
And then you think about on a broader scale, like just wide open borders and what lawlessness. There was lawlessness there. The border being wide open creates lawlessness. It was all part of the plan, I feel like. I feel like this is a bigger deal and a lot of I'm not saying that what's the word I'm looking for? That they're all related, with each person.
Right.
But the scenarios have all been set up through lawlessness.
Everything it creates a mentality that just starts replicating itself.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Conspiracy is the word I was looking for.
And you brought up that, yes, this young man had a knife. His first thought was to get the knife. It was not stand up for myself. You're going to go
throw
through
punches.
Life. Yeah.
And he could have walked away.
Or just walk away.
Why not walk away?
But, young boys are going to be boys.
Yeah,
get into a scuffle, whatever.
Tough guys.
But he immediately went to, I'm going to stab this kid.
Yes.
And that's the real problem that I see. Because boys are going to fight. That's always going to happen.
Usually boys will fight and be at least
Friends
when I was
by
in
the
high
end of
school.
it, yeah.
By the end of the day, they were buds again.
I know.
Like girls don't. When they fight, and they hang on to it.
We will hold a grudge.
They hang on to it. Boys don't do that.
From what I've heard, I think they were friends at a certain point. They kind of had these back and forth moments where at one point they were hanging out and then they weren't friends and normal high school.
These two kids?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that part of the story.
As the plot thickens, we're seeing pictures of them together. So it's just like, I do think that we're not teaching kids how to handle these challenges in school. I mean, bullies are bullies. They're there. You shouldn't be a bully because stuff like this can happen. That's why you shouldn't be a bully.
Oh, my God.
But at the end of the day, Murder?
And we're not teaching kids how delicate life is and how precious it is.
No.
And I feel like we're learning that, or I'm learning that more and more every day. And that's something that we do not value life as humans anymore. I don't feel like.
Well, then you pump, particularly our community, you pump this mentality that all white people somehow are inherently racist and that they have ancestry lines that date back to enslavement of your people, and that you should have some form of a grudge that's already built there. And then you take a young person who's being like pumped with all of this aggression against white people, and now I'm being bullied by a white kid.
I've got to respond.
Here we go.
I've got to respond.
I got to respond. And I'm not emotionally equipped to do it because I'm a child.
Goodness gracious.
It's not
We're
right.
going to leave it there. Janelle, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It is always a pleasure to spend time with you. Please tell Kelvin we say hello.
Absolutely.
And send him our best.
Oh, yeah.
That'll do it for us. Going to turn it over to Beck, then Clay and Buck, then the Kimmer Show, 3 until 6. Yes, he is back from vacation. Fret no longer. If we didn't get your email and phone call, we meant to. We just wanted you to know he was just on vacation. But anyway, for Dre and Janelle, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Bill Maher, all these guys are finally coming out, are all saying the same thing. The Democrat Party's in a shambles. They don't have a message. I mean, who are they?
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.